have a
Yeah,
question.
like that. Yes, that's I.
Maybe it's rude of me to ask, but is anyone actually clicked that fucking bell ever?
So, according to my statistics, I have about 300 people who are subscribed and have clicked the bell. So, to
That's
answer your
awesome.
question, I guess I don't because I go on YouTube every day. So, I don't need like a notification to tell me that someone has
Same.
uploaded. I
Yeah.
just go on YouTube and go to my sub
I
feed.
was wondering who's
But
using it because I never had a reason to use it because I'm
I've
like
done it.
you
I've
on
done it for
YouTube every
3
day.
people on YouTube. Ty, can you guess who those 3 might be?
All 3 of them are VTubers.
Yes.
That's all that needs to be said.
Natalia, are
Fucking
you
knew
telling
it.
me you haven't clicked the bell for youtube.com/bemorebrass?
Oh my god! I
Is
gotta
that
let
what
me
you're
go on
telling me?
youtube.com/bemorebrass and press the bell button.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host, Alex, but you can call me Senpai. And joining me tonight, I have our poser extraordinaire, Natai.
Low energy intro. It's 2 a.m. It's fine. I'm good.
Why are you low energy, Natai?
I don't know what you're talking about. What? Give me a break. Every episode, I'm like I shouted shit and whatnot. No, let me chill.
Okay.
Daddy, chill.
Daddy, chill. And as you can all no doubt tell, we have a guest with us tonight. Guest, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ian, or Be More Brass on YouTube and I guess Twitch. I don't really stream as much as I used to. But I make anime content on YouTube.
Yeah,
And sort of
AniTubers
just
go.
Yeah. Just sort of talking about different shows, analysis. I guess reviews. I guess if you had that's what I did a lot more of trying to we'll talk about it. Trying to
Yeah.
switch to some other content and stuff like that.
That one Naruto OP analysis you did. I don't even watch Naruto, but that was so in depth on even just the music side of that OP. I was like, that's really fucking cool.
Yeah,
So,
that's one of my
big shout outs.
favorite videos I've ever made, and it's also one of the more poorly performing videos on the channel.
It's
really
funny how
cool.
that works, isn't it?
It's really,
It's
really
like
good
this thing that
stuff.
you pour a lot of passion, energy, and effort to. 5 views. It's like fuck.
It's like 30 minutes long. I did a lot of actual research for it, and then it got like 100. It has like 400 now, which is below average for the channel. Like 1K for me right now is usually pretty good, but it's just like, oh, even posted on Reddit, it's just didn't work.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, sometimes it is like that, and that is what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking sort of broadly about the state of online content creation, but we're also going to talk about it through sort of the lens of AniTubing, which is what both we here at Anime Club After Dark and Ian himself does. But I do want to talk about you specifically first, Ian. So, I mean, you've kind of mentioned it up front, but like, how did you yourself get into doing like content creation, AniTubing, and things like that?
Well, so strap yourself in because it's a longer
it's a
story.
doozy.
Hold on.
So I went to school for journalism with the intention of being like a sports writer. So that's where I learned in high school. Actually, I learned how to use Premiere and how to shoot video and how to edit and all that stuff. And that's why I'm still trapped in Adobe because that's how I learned how to edit. So that's now
Trapped
what
in
I
Adobe
use. I use
hell.
Photoshop and Premiere. I went to school. The plan was to become a sports writer, and that stuff doesn't pay super well. Not that content creation also pays super well for most people, but
currently most jobs in general don't pay very well.
Yeah.
That's also true. Yeah.
But while I was in school, I bought a Elgato not graphics card, a recording. Oh my god, what are those things
Capture
called?
card.
Capture card.
Capture
Yeah,
card.
I was half the word was right. A capture card.
Yay, my degree coming in clutch.
On a whim. And that was 2016. I just bought it like on eBay, and I just had it, and I wasn't using it, so I just bought it. I was like, oh, I'll stream at some point. And then in 2017, spring is when I first started streaming on Twitch, mostly just like a bunch of friends hanging out. And so the first game I streamed was Kingdom Hearts, which if you look at
anime.
if you not wrong. if you look at my current like logo or profile picture on YouTube and Twitch, it is me, but like with the Keyblade and dressed up kind of like a Keyblade master, which is why that is that, and why there's no anime in the logo for the channel, because it came from my friend drew it years ago now, because I was playing through Kingdom Hearts. But did streaming for a few years, had a good time with it. Slow growth. I hit affiliate pretty quick, and then like for most people, you just kind of hit a plateau, like 300, 400 followers. But in 2018, I was talking to one of my friends. I was like, I'd really want to start making like videos and stuff. And like, because the thing I always like doing was writing, right? That was what my career was supposed to be. It still is, but now it's marketing, which is a whole other thing. And so
it's
like
like writing by persuasion.
Yeah, it's like writing, but not as much fun. But so I was like, yeah, I think I really want to make like a YouTube video. And he was like, oh, you think you'd be really good at it? You should do that. And I was like, okay. And so it took me like 3 months to write, and this is when I wanted to do video games. The first video on the channel is about Banjo-Kazooie. And I wrote it. It took forever, and then I had to record all of the footage, which took forever, and then I edited it, and then finally it was November 2018, first video on the channel. And from there, I did some anime stuff, some more video game stuff, back and forth, kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. Eventually landed on anime just because this is a great reason. I didn't like having to record footage. It was like such a time suck to have to play through the game while recording it.
That's why, like, I have such a great amount of respect for video game like creators on YouTube that make like these 5-hour long video essays about video games, and they go and record their own like stuff that they put in there. It's like, how do you had to have recorded like 12, 13, 14 hours of footage to get all this shit? How do you
record
that?
and then skim through all that footage that you need to get the parts you need? It's like it's very time consuming.
Yeah, people must have like 10, 20 terabyte like drives and stuff just to be able to keep all of the footage on your computer at one time. But I went from there. It was like, I'm just going to do anime now, but I was really focusing on streaming. I was like streaming a couple of times a week, and maybe I think I made like 7 videos in 2019. Like, it wasn't that many. But that year I did a Attack on Titan video, and I posted that on the Attack on Titan Reddit, and some people liked it, and it got like 300 views in a day, and I was like, oh my god, it's time to quit. I'm gonna make it. But then later that year, I did a video about Promare right when it came out. Like, I saw it in theaters, and then made a video about it.
Shit was good.
And that's what the video is. It's 3 minutes long. It's like a 3-minute video about how the movie is good. But that was the first video I had that started getting like traction. I think it's at like 6K now, but it was the first ever video to pass 1,000 views. It was getting, consistent viewership over the course of, every day, 5, 6, 7 views. So I started making some other anime videos. One thing leads to another. The pandemic hits, and I'm working on a Black Clover video. And I'm like, okay, I'll just finish this, put it out. This is April 2020. Black Clover is so good now, is the title of that video. And the usual got like 30 views day one, kind of just slowly ticked up over 100, whatever. At this point, it's because it's COVID. I'm like furloughed. I'm streaming like 40 hours a week to very little return. Like, it was good at the start, and then it kind of like I super burned out on streaming basically. But so while that's happening, all of a sudden somebody posts the Black Clover video on the Black Clover Reddit, and it's like 20 views a day, 30, 40 views a day, 50 views a day. I'm like, oh my god, it's like, after a week and a half, it's like all of a sudden it has like 1,000 views. That's like the fastest that's ever happened. And then something happened, because YouTube is a mysterious machine. All of a sudden, I wake up one day. I had 130 subscribers when I posted that video. Wake up one day, and I had just have 100 new subscribers. and the video had gotten like 10,000. It was like, I think it was June 1st, or it might have been July 1st. I think it was June 1st, 2020. Like 10,000 views in a day, like out of nowhere. And
Damn.
that's still the best day on the channel in terms of views.
I don't even think we have a video with 10,000 views.
No, we don't.
No, we have. So the video we have with the most views is 7,000 or just over 7,000. It's our movie review for Paprika.
Yeah, which is like, why that movie? It's like, it just
that is our
movies-
most watched video on YouTube. Our second most watched video is the most cursed thing we've ever done, and that was our dramatic reading of Sword Art Online chapter 16.5.
Yes.
so glad I wasn't present for that.
And then our third most watched video is just us ranking Monogatari characters, where we casually.
I wonder
just
why we're
left
planning
off
on doing that again soon. I wonder.
I know the one where we just casually left off Gaian for no reason in our ranking.
But
then that Black Clover video like popped off. Like,
yeah,
it popped off.
It has 220,000 views now.
God dang.
Most of that was about 175 in that like first couple months, and it just like since has been slowly getting views ever since. But still, that's like most of my subscriber base at the moment is like people from that video. It's like about 1,200 people from that video, or about 1,000 people from that video, which is something I think we'll talk about this a little later, but that poses its own problems. Having one video blow up poses its own problems.
Oh, it does.
In terms of people coming back, people shoehorning like YouTube shoehorning your channel and sending it to a particular type of viewer who may not be interested in your other content. Stuff like that. But to basically answer your question, how I got into it, always liked writing. Kind of a natural thing to like want to talk about things I'm interested in, and then one thing leads to another, and we're here now.
Yeah, in 2023. I've always wanted to try doing like videos, like writing a scripted video by myself and seeing if I could put something together on YouTube.
Ages ago, you did those reviews. I don't remember which year it was, where you did this like end of year.
It was at the end of 2016.
That's
which
right.
was the first year of our podcast. So we started this podcast at the very end of 2015, November 20th of 2015 was when we uploaded our first episode. But the first like full year of our podcast was 2016. And at the very end, I did this like series. I think it was like 3 or 4 videos where it was literally just me talking into it. It was like me talking into a camera like this, just talking about some stuff anime wise that I liked or didn't like about the previous year. And they did like okay. Of course, like we had like 15-20 subscribers back then on our YouTube channel. But I mean, they did okay for what they were. I've actually since privated them because I look back on it. First of all, the audio really sucks, and I really just don't want people to go find them simply because they have like a significant amount of views, and then be like, "This is what they do. Fuck this shit." But
I don't private stuff. I just have all my old stuff still up there. I mean, I might have to at some point if there's like some copyright concerns down the line. But as of right now, I like having the old stuff out there.
Well, that's also part of my concern, because like with you just talking into a camera, obviously there's no copyright concerns at all whatsoever because it's all your words and it's all your content. Or is it because we had an entire episode of our podcast a couple of years ago where we were doing a movie review for A Silent Voice. It is all our own art assets that we had. It is all our own original words, and we did put no audio or video clips. The only copyrighted content was we took screenshots of the 2 main characters, cut them out, like made little PNGs out of them, and put them onto our thumbnail. That is the only copyrighted content that we had involved in that video whatsoever. We didn't just get a copyright claim; we got a copyright strike.
That was so harsh.
That's like, very, very odd.
Yes, and of course, when you're not partnered, you have no recourse. I mean, you can do the counterclaim, but then YouTube just going to go, I mean, we trust the person who made this claim. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I wonder
great.
if it
I mean,
was
We love you too.
fraudulent.
It 100% was fraudulent because like there was literally, and people use copyrighted content in their thumbnails all the time on
All the
YouTube.
time, yeah.
And I've never heard of anyone getting a copyright strike for having something in a thumbnail.
Now every
that's
single one of
harsh.
my thumbnails it has a character in it, which is technically copyrighted content, and so does everyone all the
Yeah.
time.
No,
So like
it's
that's
strange.
very weird.
Yeah. But that's kind of what I'm afraid of, because if I do it again where I'm making like scripted videos, obviously I'm gonna want to make it a little higher production value than just me talking into a camera. So I'd want to have like, you know, clips of whatever I'm talking about, anime, or, you know, maybe stills from a manga or whatever, you know, on the screen while I'm talking about it. I'm just terrified that I'm going to put a shit ton of work into this and then it's just going to get copyright struck.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
kind of
very
thing you see all the
difficult.
time, right?
Yeah.
When,
But again,
like when
as a
when you publish a
non-partner
video,
channel,
is that
we
like
have no recourse.
for Ian, when you like publish a new video, like how often does it like very quickly you need to like go through some ringer just to make it like fucking public and whatnot, right? Is there like a lot of issues?
Depends, right? I've only ever had problems with music. I've gotten other copyright claims, but they're almost always, I want to say 99% of the claims I've gotten are automated. It's just like, you know, if you upload a couple of the earliest videos I have are still claimed because
Really?
I just didn't cut like quickly enough. It's your first anime YouTube tip of the day. I don't know where I was going with that.
Uncle Ian with the tips coming in.
You generally want to keep your anime clips with you can go to 7 seconds. I think that's the most I'll do, but usually 5 or less. So you need to cut every 5 seconds,
but
basically.
Even then, that's no guarantee.
It's a guarantee. For what I've found, it's a pretty good guarantee against the automated system. If the actual copyright holder finds your video and wants to claim it, well, you know, literally any content.
I have yet another anecdote from our own channel, which says that 5 seconds is often more than enough time. So in an episode of the podcast that we did, where we did a spoiler cast for Gridman, back what was that, 3-4 years ago now. I wanted to spice up the video upload a little bit. So one of the things I included was in addition to at the very end, I used the original Gridman theme song as like the outro, which that got claimed too. But the thing that actually got us a claim on that video was not that music. It was a 1.7 second sound clip from the anime.
No,
so
sound,
5 seconds. 5
yeah,
seconds
sound gets
is
claimed very easily.
Not enough.
But for sound,
definitely sound. You pretty much can't use it at all, and that's some of my older videos. You know, hopefully no one is watching this who has like copyright claim priority from Japan. Some of my older videos about like anime openings, I would use the anime opening as like a backing track. It's pretty quiet, which is why later on it doesn't get caught by the automated system. But like those, like if one of those videos were to get struck, I would have to take them all down immediately.
Yeah,
because
then you'd be paranoid.
Well, then then they could just take them all down and then the channel's gone.
Yeah.
So
because if you on YouTube, if you get 3 copyright strikes, even if it's at like literally the same, you're done.
Yeah,
you're done.
So you know, let's hope that doesn't happen.
And it's crazy because on YouTube, the copyright system has gotten so robust. Like it used to be like if you, because one thing we do is we record the VODs of all the gameplay we do on Twitch, and we upload the VODs to YouTube after the fact, so that people can go back and watch them. Because I've done entire game series playthroughs on Twitch, and I just upload the VODs to YouTube. And it used to be where if you had like a game that was playing a copyrighted song, as long as you talked over that song, the whole song, you'd be fine. Nowadays, you can't even do that because the copyright system can actually, like, I don't know, edit out your talking and still hear the sound behind you.
So frustrating.
Behind you. Yeah. Because I did that with The Walking Dead. I did a playthrough with that, and Telltale's The Walking Dead. And at the end of every season of Telltale's The Walking Dead, there is an unskippable credit cutscene that always plays a licensed song. And I've talked over that whole thing. I turned the volume all the way down on the stream. I talked over it, and I still got a copyright claim on it.
No, it's
rough out here.
The automated stuff, like, I don't mind the automated stuff. It's annoying, but like, if you're just gonna claim it, like, that's fine. I don't make a ton of money off of my channel anyway, so like, if I'd be perfectly fine if someone wants to claim it. I'd be annoyed because I think it's most of it, or if not all of it, is transformative. But like, it's so crazy to me how many people just, or how many companies just strike. Like, yep, we're just gonna nuke this from orbit.
What was it like? And there's some that are way worse about it than others. Obviously, Nintendo will literally come and kill your firstborn child if you say anything negative about them online. But,
where was that channel that just got like deleted for a bit? The anime channel.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about. It's totally not Mark.
Something Mark?
Yes,
totally. It's
yeah,
totally
I remember
not
Mark.
But I do think it's
totally
funny that is so vague that like it happens to people like every couple of weeks that channels get like deleted.
And that's Toei.
It's just like what was the story? It just got deleted.
Yes, so Toei gave him like 75 strikes,
copyright strikes at the same time,
all at the same time, and kind of randomly. Not like on, I mean, certainly on some videos that had some actual like One Piece or Dragon Ball content, but also on videos that had no Toei content at all. There were some of the videos that he'll redraw stuff, like do like redraws of scenes. Some of those got struck, some of them didn't. Some of the ones that had Dragon Ball footage in it didn't get struck. They just kind of just were like, we're just going to hit a button here and send a bunch of things over, and it was a whole shitty. It was a whole thing. I'm glad it's taken care of, but oh my goodness.
Yeah. I think that it's a big part of the reason why I think there's a lot of issues with online content creation now is like, I mean, obviously in the United States, we have this concept of fair use, where as long as something is transformative, you can use it to prove a point. You can use it in your own content. You know, that's how the news is able to have like clips of movies and TV shows and not have to worry about paying licensing fees. Because they're talking about it and they're being transformative. But obviously on the internet, because these companies like CBS Viacom and like Disney, Nintendo, they have this monopoly on what they consider fair use. The concept of fair use has been so bastardized that it makes people too paranoid to make good content.
It's like it's been said to death, but it is true. Like copyright law just hasn't caught up to all the shit that's been happening since the internet became a thing, and it's so damaging.
And there is no international copyright law. And I think that's the biggest problem.
Because I was going to say, you layer that stuff on top of Japan basically doesn't have copyright law. In fact, they have, I'm being, I'm not going to describe it to the letter of the law, but it's like, I think of it as like an anti-copyright law almost, where like, it's like, no, actually no one can use anything ever. Sorry, that's the law. You can't use anything unless you get written consent from the company.
Written consent in triplicate, and you get it signed by the prime minister and the emperor bows to it. Like, you can't do it.
Like the biggest thing that came out of the Totally Not Mark drama that I wish YouTube would just give everyone is geo-locking. Is just you hit a button and okay, no one in Japan can see this video.
That would
You're not going
be a
to
really
recommend
nice
this to anyone in Japan.
That would be a really nice feature. If you know that the copyright is going to be an issue in a specific country, then we as creators should probably have the ability to behind the scenes just geo-block stuff before it goes out.
But most of these companies have like American branches, so how effective would it be if they really want to go after creators?
Yeah, but at least American law for fair use like exists. I would still be awful. I don't think it would fix the problem.
Oh no,
but
I don't think any one thing is going to fix the problem on YouTube, at least.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that have to happen. And I think a big part of it is what Natai said. Like, I think that I think maybe the best thing for things like fair use and copyright is to have some kind of an international copyright law.
Now,
how many countries are going to sign on to that? Who knows? But I think it's start.
Yeah, it's just all an overreaction to the era. I mean, it's still going on now, right? But that era 10 years ago where you could find any episode of anything or any movie just like on YouTube.
On YouTube.
I mean, I used to watch anime in 3-part blocks on YouTube. I mean,
Madagascar 2 part 10 of the movie out of 15,
And this one's in Spanish
times.
for some reason.
Yeah, with Spanish subtitles. Well, hell, now you can upload just the entire B movie to Twitter.
Wasn't there like a
Goodness.
big meme that the entirety of Tokyo Ghoul Route is on Pornhub or something like that a
I think
cool while
so.
ago?
Probably.
I remember
that.
hearing that somewhere. I was like, that's insane. I don't believe it.
I remember that. That was funny.
But yeah, it's just. But again, like as much as like it's very frustrating and like it's very easy to be mad at YouTube, which I mean, I'm not saying they're innocent, but you have to remember they'll start with who was it? Viacom who were suing them for like
CBS
breaking all the
Viacom back in the day. Yeah.
So it's like, so you have that loss like hanging over them, looking for the first moment they'll fuck up, and they're like, you can't do that. Let's shut down this site, even though it's owned by Google, which it'll never get shut down. But it's like the problem is there's no alternative to them, to YouTube.
And
That's the main problem.
that is a big problem, I think, in general with online content creation, is just the lack of competition. And then when competition comes in, it's so weak that it may as well not exist.
It's impossible. And like, unless you're doing something like what Nebula does, where it's like a subscription service and it's all handpicked creators and it's all like, guaranteed high quality content.
It's a very specific thing, which it's on Nebula, it's science documentaries.
No, that is the like creative. That's like their other thing. They have the Nebula and the other thing. I'm gonna look it up now because it's like creative.
But it's the same kind of a thing where it's literally just a video
Curiosity stream.
Curiosity stream. Thank you.
Is the
it's done by the same people who do Nebula, right?
Yes, they're owned by the same company, I believe.
Yeah, but it's like it's
a great deal.
Thing. It's it is a great deal. It's a niche thing. Like if you're really into watching science documentaries or long form science content on YouTube, that's going to really appeal to you. And maybe that is the way forward. Like instead of having like one overarching streaming platform, maybe you actually have multiple streaming platforms that are all dedicated to something different.
But then you have you get to the problem that we are facing right now, which is there are too many streaming services, and all of them want all of your time, which doesn't make sense and money. So it's like
it's just hard to build an audience anywhere else. That's the inherent problem.
It is. Which, as an AniTuber, kind of going back to that, it's difficult on YouTube these days to build an audience there, especially
so many
AniTubers.
Yeah,
because
it's
so many.
So weird. Granted, I obviously started doing this in 2019, really, because 2018 was like the end of the year, and so even then, like I almost missed the boat. It's weird because as anime gets bigger, you would think, I guess it gets more mainstream, you would think there'd be more opportunities. But it just feels like, 10 years, not even 10 years, like 2016, people were really still interested in reviews or analysis or basically content where you are just talking about a show and like it's a scripted video.
Also a recommendation type of video.
Yeah, well, that was the top 10.
That was even before, actually.
Those still do pretty well if it's manga.
Yeah, like top tens and list type stuff really does well. I mean, even the stuff that we've done that's like the ranking videos that we've done. Granted, we haven't done a lot of them, but they all
WatchMojo.com, am I right?
Yeah, they all perform pretty well comparatively.
But that stuff still does okay, but now it has to be a tier list. You have to be making a tier list. That's how you do it.
Yeah,
it's not like a top 10 anymore because those are antiquated. Basically, it's we did a bracket style thing. What was it, like 4 or 5 months ago? And
that was a lot of fun.
When we did it was the top 100 anime on Mal, and we like seeded them and did it like bracket style. And boy, the comments we got on that were interesting. Especially when we put Violet Evergarden over Attack on Titan.
Well, that's what you do, is you do stuff like that and you get a lot of comments, you get the engagement, and then YouTube sees you're getting engagement, and then it pushes out to more people who are also going to get mad about your opinions, and it just recycles over and over again.
That's what I tell people. Like there's like we have followers who are like, I'd love to help you guys and support you guys. I don't have any money, and I always tell people the same thing. You don't have to have a dime to actually support us. The best thing you can do to support us is word of mouth. Word of mouth on the internet these days is almost as important as it was for small businesses back in like, the 70s, 80s, 90s. Like that was the best way to get more and more people. And it's the same way with online content creators, especially smaller ones. If you don't want to spend a dime, but you want to support us on YouTube, the best things you can do is engage with our content. If you see it out there and you watch it, first of all, watch as much as you can, because like average watch time is apparently very important for videos to do well, but also like it, share it around, comment. Like I know it's kind of become a meme on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe.
Like,
I mean,
comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell.
There you go.
But
Hit
it's
that
true.
bell.
Like that's the things that drive more people, not to just that specific video, but to your channel.
I have a question.
Yeah, like that. Yes, that's I.
Maybe it's rude of me to ask, but is anyone actually clicked that fucking bell ever?
So according to my statistics, I have about 300 people who are subscribed and have clicked the bell. So to answer your question, I guess I don't, because I go on YouTube every day, so I don't need like a notification to tell me that someone has uploaded.
Yeah.
I just go on YouTube and go to my sub feed.
I was wondering who's using it, because I never had a reason to use it, because
I've
like
done
you
it. I've done
on
it
YouTube
for
every
3
day.
people on YouTube. Ty, can you guess who those 3 might be?
All 3 of them are VTubers.
Yes.
That's all that needs to be said.
Natalia, are you telling me you haven't clicked the bell for youtube.com/bemorebrass?
Oh my god! I
Is that what
you
you're
go on
telling me?
youtube.com/bemorebrass and press the bell button.
He's been called out.
Bell squad.
I don't think it
called out.
I don't think it noticeably does anything in terms of like helping the video do better, other than sometimes the sub feed or the recommended homepage doesn't show your video to people who are sub to you for some. Well, the sub page does, but sometimes the home feed doesn't. So the reason people tell
Why
people,
would you subscribe to someone and not want to see their content?
I know, right?
Because YouTube wants to show you new content instead. I don't know.
I mean, I will say that's one thing that YouTube has over Twitch. At least YouTube will recommend you new stuff. Twitch don't recommend you anyone but like the top 10.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason why I stopped. I mean, also I wasn't enjoying streaming, so that's kind of why I do it like once every couple months. But
I've told people this: if number one, if we ever get partnered on YouTube, which it's one of our big goals for this year, if we get that, and if YouTube ever like gets a functioning chat, like live stream chat thing going, like Twitch has done, we're done with Twitch. We really are. Just stream on YouTube.
Just so far, the experience of streaming to me feels better on Twitch rather than YouTube.
And it's because of that chat function, how engaging it is.
Yeah.
On YouTube, it's not anywhere near as engaging.
I also just have my whole ecosystem for that stream built into Twitch now at this point, where like when I did a stream about a month ago on my YouTube channel for the first time, like looking at the new spring seasonals for anime. And that took me like forever to figure out how to stream to YouTube and like how that you can like schedule it. But then if you don't go live, it just doesn't go. It's like it's like works, but you have to like learn a completely different ecosystem instead of just Twitch is pretty simple.
Yeah, Twitch is more like just, as long as you got this code that you plug into your broadcasting software, you're good to go. YouTube has got like a checklist of like 12 things you got to do before you stream. It's
like a whole other page. It's like you go to the creator studio and then you have to like go to the streaming creator studio out of the create. It's like another page. It works. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one thing that Twitch definitely has over YouTube, because Twitch, if Twitch actually had like recommendations where it was recommending you smaller streamers, I think it'd be great, but they don't do it. They never have.
I'll be right back. I'll gotta pee.
Oh, okay.
No, the only way people ever find your stream is if you're playing a game and they're going to look at that game.
Yeah.
Like that is the only way people ever like find a small stream, because they want to watch a game, and that's how they do it.
A specific game. And we've had people that come to our stream sometimes simply because we were streaming a game that they wanted to watch someone play at that time. And it's sad that that's really the only way you can grow on Twitch besides just word of mouth.
It's just their algorithm just doesn't. It's also hard, right? Because it has to be live, right? And so the people have to be live, and it has to be like your time is like, you can't like throw a video on while you're doing something else. I guess you could throw a stream on, right? But there's you only have 24 hours in the day, and you have to be like active in a Twitch stream and stuff. It's like, I feel like YouTube is a lot easier to just like leisurely find a video,
stuff.
watch it. Well, what else? do I
Manage
wanna
your
watch,
9
you
to
know?
5, so to speak.
It's
Yeah.
a much smaller commitment to sub to a, I guess they're all free, but it's a much smaller commitment to find a new creator on YouTube and watch a couple videos than it is to
Yeah.
sit through an hour of a live stream and decide if you want to watch watch this
more.
person or not. Yeah.
And I mean, I
Yep,
guess
definitely.
with the VODs that Twitch does keep. I mean, yeah, you can go through those VODs and watch them, but that's no guarantee that any of the recent VODs are like conducive to what they usually do.
Now I wish they saved. I know why they don't, because the server costs would be ridiculous.
Just
Like
ask Google.
I wish I had VOD. You're right. I had VODs, all my VODs still. There's so many streams that I wish I had clips from years and years and years, and they're all
That's
gone.
a shame.
Yeah.
There's some clip, like the clips stay, so you have some moments, but if you don't actively go and save stuff, it's like it's all gone.
Yeah, but going back to what I said, like if you have a small creator that you like us or Ian, and you want to see them grow, the best thing you can do is word of mouth, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that meme stuff. Yeah, it's a meme because it fucking works.
It's really the share. Like that's the thing I try to tell people the most whenever they ask
on
about
YouTube,
that
watch time on YouTube is really important too, because well, specifically average watch time, because YouTube calculates like how many views that video has versus how many minutes or how many hours everyone watches it, and then whatever that average is, you want it high. You want it to be more than 50% of the video length,
and it's just tough.
Just to circle back to what we were talking about, because it's not a new observation, but it's interesting that a lot of the times you'll see most creators start on YouTube and build their audience on YouTube, so the transition to Twitch is that much easier, because that visibility order is so bad. So it's like when you have an existing audience, it's that much easier to go to that other system,
Yeah, I think that
you see that a lot in not only AniTube, but like most spaces of YouTube, it seems.
Even Twitter is becoming like that too. Twitter used to be a place where you could grow an audience on social media, and now you can't.
Ooh.
It's just
Twitter.
I don't think there's any social media platform out there that I think you can legitimately start from nothing and grow a big, vibrant community on. I don't think there's any social media platform out there that does that anymore.
It's YouTube if you were counting YouTube as a social media platform.
Which I would. It's very different from other social media platforms, but I would certainly count it as one.
But it's not easy. It's not that it was easy before, but it's just like I was saying before, like people only have so much time in the day to watch content, to watch a stream or watch a video. And once you start finding your favorites, like your favorite content creators, and then, all of a sudden you don't have time to find new people.
Yeah,
and like
you just wait for them to get canceled, and then you have more. You can.
Yeah, there you go. Problem solved.
Yeah, there you go. Just easy, and then just wait for yourself to get canceled, so then you can rebrand and start over. It's a cycle.
He likes Black Clover,
Jerry. It's a cycle.
Man, that Black Clover thing was wild, Natai.
Oh yeah, I've never seen anything like it.
Watching people react to our Sword Art Online thing was pretty fun too. Like when we first posted it, like our regular like viewers and followers were all like, "What the fuck?" And then we had people coming in like, "I followed you specifically for this."
Yeah, when stuff gets outside of your like subscriber base, your follower base, it's a trip. So the title of that video, like I said, was "Black Clover is so good now." The whole video is about how much I like Black Clover and how I thought, it got a bad rap when it came out. People were mad about Asta's voice. People were like, people were dropping it basically, and like,
understandably so.
Like, and like a lot of my friends. So that video is funny because I made it for my friends. I made it for like, because me and a couple other friends like were watching it. We're like, "Oh, this is getting really good," and like everyone else was like, "Nah, it's still bad. I don't know. We're not gonna watch it." So that's why I made that video.
I hate to say it worked.
I did get you to watch it.
Yeah.
But again, the title of that video is Black Clover is so good now, and there are hundreds of angry comments on that video about how no, it's been good from the beginning. What are you talking about? And I'm like, why is this what you're mad about? I'm saying the show is good.
See, and John, the guy who edits the audio and stuff on our podcast, like he tries to, bless him, he tries to like hammer it into us all the time. We got to get the clickbait, guys. We got to get that clickbait. We got to make him angry with the title.
I mean, it's what you
he's not
should
wrong.
do. Like that's what
it's
works.
sad that it has to be that way, but it definitely draws people in. It gets people to stay. It gets people to make angry comments and engage with your content. It's why, like, it sucks to get a comment on a video that you upload where it's just someone being angry and like, you suck, you should just stop making content. But it's like, thanks for the engagement, buddy.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what
Yeah.
you have to go with it. If it's someone like,
but then once you get big enough, you don't have to worry about clickbait because people are just going to click on your content anyway.
I don't know about that. I feel like bigger.
No,
YouTubers
I'm
still
gonna
do it.
say it right now. The Trash Taste Boys could literally just put a period out there as their video title. It'll get 1 million views.
But it wouldn't do as well if they would go for a clickbait title.
I'm guessing that bigger channels do it because at that scale,
Out of habit.
an extra percent on the CTR, that's like 20,000 views.
What's the
something like
CTR
that.
for
CTR
viewers and
stands for
listeners who don't
click-through
know?
rate.
Click-through rate.
Okay.
Basically,
So
how many
essentially,
people are choosing
yeah.
to watch your stuff over others? More or less. There's a little more to it than that, but that's basically what it is.
It's interesting that we talk about it, and Ian, especially when we talk about all these analytics, because I remember that like you and I talked about it a while ago about that Super Eye Patch Wolf video he did about climbing the YouTube ecosystem, I guess, and like it just him interviewing other creators about what it's like and what are like the lesser fun aspects about the job. And they always talk about the metrics and the analytics and how you get lost in the numbers. It's like pushing you to do something that you don't want to do, you know. Maybe it's kind of a more loaded and harder question, but like, do you get that effect every now and then?
Yeah, absolutely. It's gotten a lot better this year because I made it a active, and I've also only uploaded one video this year, which will do that. But like I certainly, like, even when the videos are doing well, if you kind of get that addiction of like, I'm gonna refresh, oh, the number goes up, the number goes up, the number goes up. Or when they don't do well and you make a video, even if it's not something that takes days, but it's something that took hours to make, you upload it and it's like, yeah, this is 10 out of 10, like, but not like 10 out of 10, like 10th place out of your last 10 uploads. And you're just like, and that's the first thing you see when you open analytics, and it's just like, it just makes you feel bad. And like, but people really, you get, because I've done it, like you get addicted to opening it and seeing if the numbers changed, like did the numbers go up, and then when they don't, you get really sad, and it's like a really vicious cycle.
See,
that's rough.
I tend to look at it in a different way. Yeah, do I get a little bummed that maybe a podcast that we are all really proud of and we think it was a great discussion and we had a lot of fun doing it? Am I a little bummed when it doesn't do as well as I thought? Yeah, but I still look at it and it's like, oh wow, this only got like 50 or 100 views. Well, that's still 50 or 100 people who liked what we did. Imagine having 50 or 100 people coming over to your house just to listen to you.
I can't fill this room with 100 people.
Yeah, that's the big.
Now that sounds like a challenge, Natang.
Fly us in.
Oh, easy. Got the tickets right here.
The big Twitch thing is like, if you have like 10 concurrent, imagine if there was 10 people in your like living room watching you play a game. But
it's crazy.
That's how I think about it. Like, obviously our Twitch channel isn't growing like I want it to, but I still look at it and it's like, hey, I'm sitting here playing a game that's like 15 years old, because one of the things I'm doing right now is doing a Fallout New Vegas playthrough. I'm sitting here playing a game that's like 15 or so years old, and there's like 5 to 10 people that stop by and watch me play this 15-year-old game.
How many times it crashed by now?
I'm up to 9.
Oh, well,
nice.
That's actually better than
9 crashes.
Have you seen
and I haven't even made it to the New Vegas Strip.
Oh no. Okay, well maybe not better. Have you seen the H-Bomber guy video on New Vegas?
It's so good.
It's like one of my favorite videos on this website. It's so good.
He makes so many good videos. Like, damn.
Yeah, like
That's good
those are
shit
my
all around.
favorite types of
That's-
creators.
That's something
Yeah,
I
same.
wanted to talk about too, because obviously with things like, you know, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, what is Instagram Reels is what they're called, I think, on Instagram,
Mhm.
like this very short form content, like the stuff that's 90 seconds or less, is what's like, I guess, all the rage now. And there's a part of me that kind of weeps for that, because something that I've always loved, not just as someone who wants to create content, but as someone who likes watching some of these creators make the content, is the
Yeah.
sort of slow death of long form analysis and like review videos that I really love.
It's a weird dichotomy right now. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, particularly for anime, but even for games. Games are a little different. I'm going to get on a tangent for 2 seconds, then I'll bring it back. Games are a little different
Do it.
because
Do it.
it's reviews are still alive and well for games because it's a $60 investment, and so people
Yeah.
need to know if whether or not they want to spend the money.
Especially
Anime's a
for
little
AAA
more,
games.
anime is a little more, you can just check it out instead of watching someone talk about it.
Yep.
But back
Check it out
to what
totally legally on Crunchyroll. I
Yeah.
mean, what?
the back to what you were saying though, it's weird because it feels like everything is going in one of two directions. Either it's shorter form TikToks and stuff like that, or now it's I need to make a 5-hour analysis video on Final Fantasy
Right.
VII or something like that. I'm sure
Hmm.
that exists. I'm sure there's a 10-hour one on that game, but
Oh, for sure.
There's someone
you
that did
know.
a 14-hour analysis video on Skyrim.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's that one of the videos that
people
was
watch it.
recommending my Black Clover video for a while was a 2.5 or 3-hour video about how Black Clover is better than My Hero, and it's like 3 hours long. And the guy worked
That's a
on it for
passionate
like
person
I'm
right
gonna stop
there.
you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there and say, okay, I've only watched like the first 2 episodes of Black Clover, and I was done. It's just in terms of like technical precision and like the art, MHA is way better than Black Clover.
It gets
No,
better
don't-
after 30 episodes. It's fine.
Don't tell that to
Okay,
the
okay, Mr.
MHA
One Piece. I'm on
manga fan.
episode 500. Let's go.
God. Anyway.
Oh, I was what I was saying. I was talking about, and then yeah, so it's like one or the other, and it feels like what we've lost, or what people have lost interest in, is that like mid-tier 20-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute
Yeah.
analysis video, or like
The
'cause I
classic
don't like
15 minutes video is kind of gone.
Yeah,
it
like,
feels like it though.
I mean, there are still people that out there doing it, especially in the AniTubing sphere. I mean, you got like channels like Mother's Basement, who still does like 20-30 minute
Most of his past few
reviews
videos
on
have been an
OP.
hour or so long. Most of his past videos this year and last year are like an hour long.
That's true. They are getting a little longer, but he still does upload like the half-hour or shorter videos where he just
Yeah.
talks about an OP.
But like it is interesting, like because you have a lot of and like just like Ian said, it's like a lot of gaming channels where it's be like someone like fucking I don't know, like Age Bomber guy that'll upload like a 3-hour video, and it does really well.
It's the watch time. I'm convinced it's because they have it
Yeah.
rigged for watch time, so then the long videos get all this watch time.
Well, and for someone like that, they've also got their audience trained that every upload is probably going to be an hour plus long. So buckle
Yeah,
up.
that too.
Yeah, they're
It's sort of
also
expected.
good, right? Like I think
Yeah,
that's the
they're
most
well
important
done,
thing
yes.
is like his
Yeah.
Very
videos
well
are
done.
incredible. I really like Summoning Salt. His videos are
Summoning
all
Salt's
usually
fantastic.
over an hour long, but they're all very well done. Right? You can't just make. Well, I guess you could, but you can't just like make a video longer for the sake of it. For the most part, it might get some algorithm play, but people aren't going to enjoy it.
Yeah,
they won't
they're not
stick
going to
with
stick
you.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They may watch like the first, if it's like say a 90-minute long video or even longer, they might stick around for like the first 10 minutes, but once they realize they're not enjoying it, they're going to click off.
I just don't know how people like it's probably my journalism training. Like they kind of beat it into you, like you need to write concisely and you need to write to the point, and like because word count matters for in that space. Where like I just like
in journalism,
can't.
you want to say the most with the least.
Yeah. And so like usually what I'll do is I'll get to somewhere between 7 to 10 minutes on a script, and like that's okay, I've said what I wanted to say, and then that's the end of the video.
And then you might have like another 90 seconds for an intro and an outro, and that's it.
Like I don't know how people do it.
A good example is Joseph Anderson. He does really, really good like video game analysis videos.
They're so long.
And there's so long. It's fantastic. It's very thorough. And his background, he's a writer. He's a fiction writer. Still is.
Yeah.
So maybe
And
that
like
has
that,
something to do with it.
the way you
Maybe?
do it is you do it thoroughly, right? That's the way you do it well. Is like his videos, or like another creator I really like is King K, who does something very
King K is
similar. Where
really
he
good, too.
talks about like his retrospectives on video games, and basically goes into every single detail about the game, and that's how those become an hour-long video, right? And like I have an upcoming video that I've been working on about Chainsaw Man, the manga. So in the Thai, you can't watch it. Sorry.
God fucking damn it!
Or you could read the manga within the next couple of weeks.
Never.
Either
It's
or,
not
potentially.
happening.
No, he's got to finish watching Zoku Wari Monogatari because we're almost done.
That is true. Actually, I do need to watch.
Speaking of long form, we have done a spoiler cast now, or we will have by the time next week rolls around. We have done a spoiler cast for every single part of the Monogatari series, and I think what I'm going to do when it's done is I'm going to actually edit every single one of them together.
Oh
into
my
one
god, it's
long
gonna be
video.
so
Supercut.
long. It's like
8-hour supercut.
It's going to be like a 20-hour long video,
something
at
like that.
least.
Yeah.
What order are you going to put it in? What's the correct watch?
Broadcast. We've done the spoiler cast in broadcast order.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for shits and giggles, we can like mix it up, but just without anyone noticing.
Maybe. Yeah, like those. I don't know about Natai, but for me, like that's been some of the most rewarding and fun content I think we've ever done on this podcast.
Just going very thoroughly over the stuff that you like is just it's fun, you know.
Yeah,
I think that's how they managed to do it too.
And it's also kind of what you have to do now, right? Because there's so much. Actually, to finish the thought I was saying was that for that Chainsaw Man video, it's longer than my usual videos because I'm like going not scene by scene, but like I'm going through a lot of scenes that are in the story and like breaking them down. And so, you know, that winds up just naturally, even if you're only going to write 500 words per scene, if there's 15
It's a long
scenes,
story.
you know, it's going to, you're going to, and that's the best way to go about a long video, I think, is you're constantly switching. So it's not just one really long topic, but you're talking about different stuff to people's attention.
I like it. I like for the long form videos. I always love it when creators like start out with a story that seems to have absolutely nothing to do with what the rest of the video is about, and then they somehow find a way to link it in.
That's the hook. That's the hook to get you.
That's Implement does that with all of his like long form content that he does.
Mm-hmm.
He'll start out with this story that has nothing to do or seemingly nothing to do with what's being talked about, and he will by the end of the video he will find some way to link it back into what he's talking about.
He's a weird character because he started out with YouTube poops.
So and now he's actually
literally
become,
like
the shortest,
which is literally like very short form kind of content. Now he's like making these big analysis videos of like 30 to 40 to an hour long,
and not all of like that Coke one, the Coca-Cola one he has. I really like.
Coca-Cola one is so good.
That's just like you could like show that in like a marketing class in like a for like an MBA, and he'd be like, oh yeah, this is like he completely describes it. It's like crazy how people can kind of go between different types of content so seamlessly.
It's always fun to me when some of these channels that I like will upload like a 4 or 5 hour long video and it's like, all right, I'm buckled up, let's go. And it's like usually about some super niche topic too.
Then you have fucking Your Movie Sucks uploading like a 2-hour video about Lion King. It's not even the full review he's doing on it. It's like part 1. Like 2 hours. That's more than the actual film.
Yeah, that's why I like when they're so longer than the thing that you're breaking down.
I love it. I love it so much.
What was it? Remember Mahler's like 4.5 hour takedown of The Last Jedi? That was fun.
We're not talking about Last Jedi, Alex. It's not.
Although that was almost as long as the movie.
We have a rule that we do not talk about Star Wars ever again.
I mean, that's because
we'll stop talking to each other.
I'm fine with that. But to bring it back to what we were talking about with AniTube, it just feels like in the last 3 or 4 years, it really has moved to just there's so many different angles, right? Because I think there's 2 big things I'm thinking of. It's moved away from like this review content, like we said. It's moved to sort of
like
more
glass reflection stuff,
personality based content, which is hard to do as a small
part
creator.
of the reason why it's a big part of the reason why Trash Taste is so popular, because it's not predicated on the content that they're making. It's predicated on the personalities of the people on that show.
Which, to their credit, they grew their audience over the course of 6, 7, 10 years or so.
Yeah.
you know.
And that's
doing
why,
different
like,
things.
we kind of talked about this off before we were recording, but like to me right now, there is a cap to how big you could get as a purely an anime channel. And that cap is pretty high. It's like 2-3 million probably. You can get past 1 million.
You're talking about
not easy.
subscribers specifically.
Yes. But it's not as high of a cap as like tech. Like I watch every single Linus Tech Tips video that comes out. I watch every single one every day. It's become like a habit. Every day I watch
that strawberry
Natai,
censorship is fucking awesome.
Natai, I lied. I actually have ringed the bell 4 times on YouTube.
Oh,
and one of them is not a
the actual
VTuber.
VTuber, Linus Tech Tips.
Linus is the original VTuber.
But like
unironically,
no
I think if he actually became a VTuber, I would watch him.
Sure. Anyway, yes, Ian. Linus
Sorry,
Tech
go
Tips.
ahead.
There's no one that big, right? But there are a lot of bigger channels. You know, you have the Three Trash Taste channels, which at this point kind of fill a different niche altogether to me.
Yeah.
Like if someone is just got into anime and they're like, I want to watch YouTube videos about anime, they'll probably come up, but I don't know if that's what that person wants.
They'll stick with.
Which is like when Trash Taste first started as a podcast, what was it like? What, 3 years ago or so? A little longer than
3
that.
years ago, I think.
2020.
29.
It was during COVID, so
like they started out talking about a lot of anime. Like the first few episodes of that, they talked quite a bit about it, but then they just it's more become, they do still talk about anime occasionally, because you know, this probably the biggest open secret is they're fucking employees of Katakawa.
I mean, yeah.
But
it's also like
personality podcast, almost like Joe Rogan's podcast, I would say.
I mean, especially this past year when they've been interviewing a lot of different people from like the Twitch and YouTube sphere, you know.
And in a like wide variety of like disciplines and fields of what their content is.
Oh yeah. It's been interesting. It's been really cool to see
say seeing them have Callie on was a little weird.
Well, that was like one of the first ones too, before they kind of figured out
off as well
how that was going
pretty early on. Yeah,
I remember seeing that in my feed. I'm like, what? No way! And I clicked the video.
The first thing for me was like, how did they accomplish this? I need to know. I need to know the technology behind this.
That crossover was so big. It was like literally the BoJack Horseman meme. It's like, is that a crossover episode? Whoa! You know?
But the second part of kind of what I was talking about is there's still a good amount of those big channels already. And the weird thing about, it's been like this for a couple years now. The weird thing about anime YouTube at the moment is there aren't a lot of channels between like 100K and 1 million. Like,
yeah, that's right.
There's a lot of gaming channels, like analysis people like I watch, that have 300,000, 400,000, 250, like that range.
Yeah.
There is not a ton of people in that range right now. And it's like really weird. Like, I don't really know why exactly that is.
Actually, you know, the more I think about it, the more I realize you're right, because there's maybe like one or two things, people I can think of that are in the AniTubing sphere that are in that range, but a vast majority are either like 1 million plus or
under
sub 100K.
Yeah,
I think it's maybe this is a wild guess. Maybe it's because like the AniTube scene is kind of stagnating the type of content that you can see that is like being put out currently. So new voices are very hard to come by because a lot of them maybe try and like just do more of the same thing that we've been seeing so far. Maybe that's it. Like, because I don't remember the last time I stumbled onto a new creator, which is very hard to find new creators in YouTube, where they're like, oh, that's like something that I stuck with, you know.
That's probably part of it. I kind of, it's a really interesting question, because you have someone like Hiding in Public has like 200,000+, and he does like traditional analysis videos. And then Scamboli was there for a while. Now he's almost at he actually might be at 1 million. I don't know.
I think he's at 1 million. Let me check.
That's such a different style of video altogether.
It's also a big risk having the word scam in your channel name.
Well, and even like way like his demeanor and stuff, I think puts a lot of people off, but it also clearly works.
Makes him
You have a million
unique.
subscribers, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's what the thing is. It's a risk, but it makes you unique because you're saying that you're making like a kind of unique type of content.
And I think that's part of the
960K.
issue. I
Almost
think that may be part of the issue too. It's like, yeah, you can make great content and you can put it out there, but what makes your content more unique than someone who's doing the same analysis videos that you're doing? Like,
I think it is up to your personality and sort of like
Yeah.
your style at that point. Like, say what you will about Scambella reviews, which like I didn't know that people didn't like him that much, but it's a very unique voice. You know, it's definitely like, ah, that's his type of video.
Okay, Alexander has 300K.
Oh, I haven't
like,
heard that name in a while.
He still does very traditional
videos?
analysis videos. Yeah, he uploads like almost under once a week, actually.
That's
very
awesome. I haven't watched his videos
heard
in a long
time.
Yeah, like 295K.
That's awesome.
But it's not. It's an exception, not the rule, right? There's like him and Hiding are very analysis based channels, but that's two people based on versus how many
hundreds
other
of
people,
thousands.
Yeah, hundreds, if not thousands. Yeah. And some people who probably are good, but maybe have less than 1,000 subscribers. You never know.
Yeah, it's
also
really
a lot of old channels
tough.
that haven't kept up with uploading, and they just kind of disappeared into the void, which is a shame.
Well, and then you're also, people's interest change as they get older. The audience that you had when you first started, especially if you've been around for 10 plus years, they've gotten older. Their tastes may have changed. They may have moved on to other hobbies, other things. You never know. There could be a lot of reasons why people don't stick around.
It's weird. Like a good example would be, like I mentioned before, but Glass Reflection. I remember back when I first got into like watching YouTube videos about anime, like every time he would upload a new video, everybody would go watch his like review about some anime property, and like he still has his core audience, but you go to his new videos and like compared to the old ones, it's kind of
nobody's watching.
That type of content is kind of not as, like, I don't know if relevant is the right word. It's kind of a harsh word, but it's not as sought after.
Yeah, people just don't want reviews, and it's because like there's a good Charlie Moist Critical. There's a good critical video where he talks about this, where because he still does reviews. He's just channel's so massive that people will watch it because
he's more of a variety content creator.
He just does whatever he wants, but
he's
says
big enough where he can do that.
When they make their reviews, the majority of the people that are coming to watch that are people that either want their opinion validated or they want to argue. It's someone who has already watched the show and either wants to hear how good the show they like is, or hear someone say it's bad so they can get mad and leave an angry comment.
Which here's a hot take for everybody. Brace yourself. I like Charlie. I like Moist Critical. I really do. But the man has some of the most vanilla taste in anime I've ever seen.
And his JoJo He's not an anime creator.
So
he likes part 2 though. So
he likes part 2.
He likes part 2,
which is a double.
So
that's a dub.
I mean, I can't hate a man who likes JoJo's part 2. I really can't.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard to dislike Charlie in general, I think.
He does some stuff that baffles me. So the whole stuff with Sneeko really baffles me.
We're not getting to that. Oh no.
He's doing something he never should have done. It's something he tells everyone not to do. He's feeding a fucking troll.
But even like looking at Giguk's channel, he only has 3.5 million. Well, only has 3.5 million.
I wish. Yeah,
but he's one of the biggest.
I'll take 100,000 of those because he ain't gonna miss them.
But like with how big that podcast is, you would think it would trickle down to the channels, and I think it has. I think he's gained about 1 million subscribers since they started the podcast.
But it doesn't entirely,
but just so
because
wildly different content.
He's doing the stuff largely on that channel. He's doing what he has always been doing, which is more anime focused. I think he has kind of branched out a little bit into games, but almost exclusively Japanese.
It's mainly anime.
Still mostly anime.
But yeah, I think it's that core audience that he built all those years ago, where it's like they came to him for, you know, anime reviews or just his opinions on certain aspects of anime, because occasionally he will upload a video where he's talking about like a very specific aspect of like anime or
He's a
manga.
true OG. He started way back when YouTube was very, very
like
like
08 or something.
Oh wait, yeah.
I like
so.
it. He mentions all the time the only reason he ever started making content was because he was bored doing math homework.
And because he wanted someone to talk to about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even like the thing that I find kind of weird that I just thought about before is like, even he's probably the biggest anime channel on the platform.
Right.
Yeah, specifically anime content. Yeah.
The video that does well, 2 million, 1 million, 1.5, you know, all big numbers. She's over a million. But you never have like, there's, unless I'm missing, this is just about his content, but like anime content in general, I can't remember the last time there was like a 10 million or like you know, one of those videos that goes just absolutely mainstream.
The only stuff
his
I can
older
think of
videos about like anime in a few minutes or so were
right. Attack on
but
Titan,
those were like very shit posty type of
million.
comedy videos. Yeah.
Again,
so
but that's also a
those
super popular anime, and it's concise down for, you know, people who may not have watched it.
So I guess his Attack on Titan video when the final season came back 3 years ago.
Oh my god.
Has 7 million views. So that would probably be the last one off the top of my head.
Final season part 1 of 17.5.
Stop, we're not doing this right now.
It does still go viral. It just in a different way than like those internet historian videos do or something like that.
Yeah, but it's not like different parts of YouTube where you have like this fucking gajillion, like 20 million subscriber type of channel.
The only stuff anime wise that I can think of that routinely does those kind of numbers are things like when corporate channels will upload like OPs and stuff.
But that's like the
reaction content.
Because reaction content.
Is reaction content still that big as it used to be?
I don't watch a lot of reaction content, so that I'm not in tune with that part of YouTube as much. But I was on Patreon, subscribing to a different creator, and I just looked up anime, and the first like 20 people that come up are all reaction channels, and they all have like thousands or at least hundreds of people paying them money every month.
Really?
And it just blew my mind.
Natai, we're doing the wrong shit.
Yeah, I know, right?
Let's go to a low effort
reaction shit. It's because I remember there was. That's weird. I remember there was like a period of time where like reaction videos were like
keep talking, but I'll be right back.
We're like that's okay. We're like the main theme that people want like to hate on. You remember that period of time where everyone making videos about reaction? Yeah, but not to that extent as it used to be.
Because
everyone
like
making videos about it.
Even we were doing it earlier, and I do it like now. Like, there's a weird thing for anime stuff where whenever everyone likes to talk about all the anime creators, they don't include reaction channels.
That's true.
It like just never. And then usually when people talk about games too, you don't really include the reaction channels.
Yeah.
And so that's always, for at least for anime, it's always been kind of a butting heads point where it's like it's basically almost two separate communities of creators.
Yeah, like camps, pretty much.
And so that's always been really interesting to me.
Because it always had that reputation of low effort content. So that people come in with the like videos they will be working like a month over, like just combing over every minute of it. So they're like, so out of that antagonism between the two.
Yeah, like it's not easy content for usually.
No, it's not.
But it's also certainly takes less manpower than a fully edited video.
Yep.
Like, and so there's definitely some animosity, at least going one way in that direction, where you're going to sit there and you're going to edit a video for a week and a half, and I'm going to spend hours of my time making this, and it's going to get 100 views. And then someone could sit down in front of their webcam and just like watch an anime episode and then just like talk while they're watching it. And then that'll get like a couple thousand, right? And that breeds that animosity. And that's part of the reason why I think they're usually not included when we talk about AniTube. Like whenever anyone makes those like AniTuber tier lists, They're never reaction channels. Never, which is why I didn't know about them. So I didn't know about this until I was on Patreon. Like there's never,
That's crazy.
They're never included, and it's just like a really weird thing. Because even earlier, I'm sure there's a reaction channel that does anime content that's like has 300,000. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's just not the type of content you and us really consume, I guess.
Yeah, and I think people underestimate that a lot of anime fans are, like, for lack of a better word, like normies, and not even like in the way that the shows they watch, like, they're only going to watch Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan,
Yeah,
but just in like the way they want to engage with anime. Like they want to hear someone talk about it, maybe, or react to a scene that they really like, or see how they're going to react, but they're not like itching for deep analytical content like some people, like some of the loudest people on Twitter are.
Yeah, it goes back to the discussion about like echo chambers, because they're really like, oh, I'm watching all these analytical videos about anime because that's how I engage with anime usually, and that's like the people I talk to more often than not. And then you have on Reddit, like if you were only on Reddit, as far as you would know, Chainsaw Man is the biggest flop in anime ever because it didn't sell whatever, but it's not connected to reality in any shape or form.
You just triggered me.
It goes back to that discussion.
Ian's mad now.
The stupid Blu-ray sale thing, man.
I hate that.
It was so dumb.
I had a feeling you'd be triggered too, because I get my veins pop
dumb
when I hear that. It's so stupid.
People just looking at numbers and not understanding what they mean.
Oh, if you want to see people like obsess over numbers, go to 4chan. There's the VTuber board, and just go to a numbers thread. You want to see some people go all crazy about numbers.
Don't go to 4chan, please.
No, go to 4chan, but just just free cheap entertainment. That's all it is.
Those 4chan,
I think you're right.
Yeah, maybe.
I think you're right. It's an echo chamber sort of deal a lot of the time, where people just want to get their opinions validated by the content they watch, which is fine. I'm not policing how you spend your free time.
Yeah.
It's just sort of a reason why I think, AniTube is kind of in the state that it's in at the moment.
It
feels stale.
It does feel stale. And I think it's okay to, like, you mentioned echo chambers, like it's okay, not only as a person watching this content, but as a person making this content, to listen to feedback from the people that have watched your stuff. And I think there maybe not there. Sometimes I don't feel like there's enough of that. I'll give you a good example that happened very recently. So recently we did an entire week on this podcast of nothing but spoiler cast for Mob Psycho 100. Which you should definitely check out. They were fun to make. Mob Psycho is pretty good. Is pretty good.
It's a good
even coming from someone who doesn't like shonen, that's a compliment.
You say you don't like shonen, but you fucking love Chainsaw and JoJo and, like,
and Naruto.
You like shonen. And Naruto.
I was gonna say, well, but those are the classy man.
The classy.
Then you're like, Naruto.
It's really difficult for me to think of Chainsaw Man as shonen. It really is.
I know. How definitely
uber violent it is. But there was someone who watched those episodes, and particularly on the final season one, and pointed out something that I had said that wasn't consistent with something that I said in the second episode or the second season spoiler cast we did. Is like, you know what? I hadn't even considered that. Now you've given me something to think about, and it's like, maybe I, as a creator, am wrong.
I mean, most of your opinions are wrong, Alex. So it's okay.
Listen, it's not my fault that people seem to love Attack on Titan. I'm sorry, it's just not good.
We're not talking about this fucking anime. I'm not doing this.
I gotta go.
Oh yeah, we've been going on for a bit.
Oh yeah, we have. I didn't even realize that. Holy shit.
Oh no, I was joking. I don't need to go. I was saying, like, if you're saying Attack on Titan was bad, I was like, I need to listen. I'm just gonna.
I spit facts. It's what I do. It's what I do.
No, you don't. Listen, Alex has heard me make fucking car noises because of my frustration with hearing his takes of Attack on Titan. It's not great. Oh man, I can't believe I spent so many hours arguing with you about this show.
I didn't realize they sound like car noises until you pointed them out, and then I went and listened to them. It's like, that's right, they are.
It's like just Alex talk shit about Attack on Titan. Me.
No,
rough.
my opinion about Attack on Titan is very legendary on this podcast. We did an entire spoiler cast series for Attack on Titan, and I laid out in graphic detail why I don't like it.
All your arguments were so shit, man.
Listen, I didn't even know who Marco was in the second season. It's just bad writing.
I mean, I feel like that's you just not paying attention. Clearly,
Because it's bad writing. There's nothing good to pay attention to.
We're not doing this. No, we're not doing this.
one topic I
hate
did
this.
want to touch on,
Yeah.
that we to kind of bring us back to what we were talking about, just like content creation in general, was how sponsorships have evolved on YouTube, and how
Remember
it's
when
really weird.
having a sponsor outside of like ad revenue on YouTube was bad?
It
meant
was like you sold out.
You sold out, yeah.
I can't watch you anymore. Sorry. You had a sponsorship. It's a sponsored video. Nope.
I remember we talked about how Gigic was kind of like the OG like big anime channel. Like I remember the first time I watched a video of his where he had like I think it was a Crunchyroll sponsorship, which is an appropriate sponsorship for someone like him to have. And half of the comments were just like sell out, sell out, sell out. Like what the fuck?
It's so like people, the kids these days don't understand like the
Be careful
They
with
have
what
it
you
easy.
say.
every single video it feels like has a sponsor now, which is fine. I don't really
Raid
care.
Shadow
It's
Legends.
a much
You gotta make
Raid
your
Shadow
money.
Legends, Audible, NordVPN, HelloFresh,
G Fuel.
G Fuel, or Gamer Subs, depending.
What's the earphones?
Oh, Raycon.
Raycon.
But it's just
Yeah,
like
everyone has a sponsorship.
By the
like
way,
that.
if Raycon wants to sponsor us, I wouldn't mind.
I mean,
I'll narrate your
I'll
videos.
sell my soul.
ACAD
I'll
sponsored
sell
by
my
Raid
whole
Shadow
soul.
Legends.
John is like ready to go doing that spiel. He's ready.
He's
Just did the
gotten
contract.
so good at doing sponsorship reads. All we need is a sponsor.
Yeah, that was back when Crunchyroll would sponsor like anime content, like AniTubers.
Yeah.
And they just
And to
don't do
some,
that.
to
They
some
did a
extent,
lot
they
of it as
still
well.
do, but it's not anywhere near like it used to be.
No, and I think a lot of it was like that. You already have that market. Like what new user is going to be watching an anime YouTube video and doesn't know what Crunchyroll is? Like who are you
Remember referral
marketing
links?
to?
Yes. Referral
Referral
links,
links
like
that
Amazon
Oh.
affiliate
YouTubers
links and
would have
stuff.
for
That still
Crunchyroll?
exists.
Yeah, they
That's
still
still a
do.
thing?
Yeah, you get
Oh.
NordVPN /
That's how we have.
No,
one.
but for Crunchyroll specifically.
Oh, for Crunchyroll.
I'm talking referral links for Crunchyroll specifically because I remember they used to be. I don't know if they're still
Yeah,
doing
I don't
it.
think they do that anymore though. Like Crunchyroll doesn't.
Well, no, they still sponsor. Like I've seen them sponsor Critical. And
okay.
I'm sure they sponsor some other creators in other spaces because again, that's a
I see.
new market you can target. It's just they don't do it for anime content anymore.
I think that with Crunchyroll though, it used to be where you could just go sign up. You didn't even really have to pass much of a background check or anything. It's like you go sign up, you get a referral link, and you can put it like in the description of your videos or whatever.
And then the
And
YouTuber
nowadays
gets a
they
cut
just-
of it or something.
Yeah, but nowadays they specifically want to target like individual creators that are big.
Yeah, and I also think they ran into, again, this is conjecture, I don't know if it's true or not. It feels like they ran into some issues with the rights holders because to them the anime YouTube content is, they have some copyright issues, and suddenly Crunchyroll is sponsoring a video that may be in the eyes of that production company may not be copyright legal.
Oops.
And then all of a sudden
Ironic
there's
if you know the
problems
history.
with that.
Ironic if you know the history of Crunchyroll.
Yes, it is very ironic.
It's very funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like today's sponsorship, because, and this is something that actually just happened a couple of days ago, and I forget who the creator was. It was one of like the big animation channels on YouTube, and forgive me, I can't remember which one it is, but I saw this on Twitter where they had actually posted a screenshot of their analytics and their earnings from a video they had recently posted that got 10 million views. And you think a video with 10 million views, just the ad revenue alone from that would be, a few $1,000 at least. Not even $1,000 ad revenue.
Was this a short?
No, it wasn't a short. It was like a I think a 6 or 7 minute long video,
Huh.
animation video. And it got like
Animation got hit so hard in
it
YouTube
did,
the
but
past
it got
few years.
it got
It's
over
such a
10
shame.
million views, and you'd think with 10 million views with just ad revenue on that alone, you'd think it at least $1,000, right? But they didn't even. They just got just over $700.
That's so ridiculous because usual it depends on the type of video, right? But usually I feel like maybe I'll just say 3, maybe 2, but $3 per 1,000 views is like a pretty safe bet. So right, that's I'm gonna do some quick math. 30 for 10,300.
My
That's
brain
like
struggles
3,000.
when I try and do 1 + 1. It's fine.
That's like $3,000 for 1 million views.
Yeah.
And even if you're going to say 10 million, a lot of those aren't going to be monetized. You'd still think it's like 10K at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Or something like that.
say like half of those 5 million are people who may watch it who have like what is it, YouTube Premium, where they're not watching ads at all.
YouTube Red.
Okay. Yeah, whatever.
But you still
Red,
get the
whatever they call it.
YouTube Premium money from it.
That's
You still
true,
get
but you
the
don't.
you get still
But I
get
don't.
some-
I don't know what the difference is between that and ad revenue. I don't know what the split is, if it's different or not.
It's better for the creator generally. You generally get more money from people who are watching with YouTube Premium if they watch the whole video, right? Because it's kind of doled out based on their watch time.
Okay.
Is how you get that money.
I didn't know if it was a percentage or how they actually like divvied that up. But the point I'm making is for 10 million views, you'd expect more than $700.
Yes.
So I think that kind of just points to how you can't really make money, at least not money that where you're able to quit a job and do YouTube full time anymore, unless you have those sponsorships.
And
No,
like
it's the
more
only way.
streams of revenue, like Twitch, Patreon.
Yeah, other streams of revenue like content creation,
Merch.
sure. I think shorts has certainly helped that for some people, but I don't know exactly how much yet.
No, shorts is, at least for what I've seen, you get like no money.
I will say
that's a
one thing
shame.
we've gotten from, we only started doing shorts this year, and pretty much most of our shorts, we do have a couple of clips from Twitch that we have uploaded as shorts from our game streams, but a vast majority of the shorts we've uploaded have just been clips from the podcast that John has gone through and taken out and turned into shorts so we can upload. And usually they're like very out of context, funny clips, or someone making a good point, or whatever it is.
Orny Tide suffering in the background from hot sauce. It's great.
Yeah, that too. But from that, one thing we have noticed is obviously a huge uptick in the number of views we're getting per week. But also we've gotten a few dozen new subscribers just from our shorts. So that's a plus.
Shame that. No, go ahead, Ian.
I was just gonna say it works really well when it works. Like you'll upload a short and it'll get like a ton of views in the first hour, and then it'll die. That's been my general experience with it.
It's our general experience with it too. Occasionally we'll have one that'll get like a few hundred views like within a couple hours of it going out, and then it'll die down, and then like 2 or 3 days later it'll get like another 1,500 views.
Yeah, it shoves it back out into the feed, because that's the only problem with shorts at the moment in my mind, is that the only way to find them is through the feed.
Yeah.
Like they some of them show up in search, so it's actually not the only way to find them. But
I've noticed that some people's
majority.
shorts will also show up as recommended videos on their other videos.
Yeah, and I don't like that. It's like really annoying to me that you go they fixed it where it's its own tab, because that was why I wasn't uploading shorts, is because it was just making the channel look like a mess. So they fixed that. But then in terms of like, if you upload a short and then when someone watches one of your old videos and it's like, you can set it to what to watch next. It's like best reviewer or most recent, and the most recent is now the short.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just like, I mean, maybe if you're on mobile, it works fine. But like, to me, that's like a dead end. Because if you click on a short, then you're going to be on this like shorts page, and then you're probably not going to come back to go to the channel. And I just don't like that.
Yeah.
I know shorts helped us with like getting more views, but man, it just, I hate what TikTok did to content creation.
Yeah,
and how it spread to everywhere. It's
first of all, I hate how things like TikTok and, well, to a lesser extent back in the day, Vine because like let's be honest, that's really where this shit started. I
Mm.
hate how it's really like push this super short form content creation. Like
It's not even just the
forget,
short form.
Forget like
It's
10-minute content. Like we're talking like sub 2-minute content where it's like, you know, within 3 or 4 seconds you gotta capture somebody or they're gonna go on. It's like
it's not even just the short form. It's like it's the freaking vertical video with like a fucking
that was
video
also
game on
something I
the
wanted to
half
mention.
and on the bottom half
The
with
Subway
subtitles because
Surfers.
the Subway
Yeah.
Surfers, which has nothing to do. It's like
I don't understand why millennials. Listen. Well, really, Gen Z. Listen, I know you guys think you're hot shit. Vertical video is cancer. I'm just throwing that out there. Like,
vertical
all right,
videos.
It's
rough.
really
Hey,
weird how I came back.
so you know, guys,
Mhm.
Gen Z. I know this is gonna blow your fucking mind. This is a phone. This is mine, right? And I know when you're taking your little YouTube like shorts and your TikTok videos, you got your phone like this. Watch this. Watch this. Your phone can also go like this,
Bruh, but
and
you
it
know
makes
what
the
the
video
response would
so
be.
much better.
You know what they're gonna say. Okay,
Do you guys
boomer.
know about the millennial pause? I learned about this
The
a few
millennial
weeks ago.
pause?
So
For a second,
apparently,
I thought you said menopause, and I'm like,
you guys know about
familiar, yes.
menopause?
I know about Metapod.
I took sex
It's a
ed.
cool
I'm familiar.
Pokemon.
So it's something that like Gen Z is kind of coined, where it is that I think this whole thing is stupid, but it's like millennials when they're recording a video or like recording a selfie video,
Mm.
they'll click record and then they'll start talking. It's like if you watch a
Right.
podcast, it's like, hey guys, you know, it's usually like it's like a breath, like, okay, we're recording, I can talk now.
Mm.
And that's the millennial pause. I guess Gen
What?
Z people just start talking and then hit record. I don't really know. To me, that's like, it's me from like a TV,
That's
like, I
weird.
come from a background of like TV production and stuff too. It's like, you you have to make sure you're recording before you don't just start talking and then just like, oh, yeah, right when the video starts, I'm going to be talking. It's really
That's like
weird.
when we talk to Berger and Yara, they're voice actors. They're so used to with what they do, they hear beep, 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 and then you go on that after that third beep. So maybe it's
That's
kind of the same
weird. I
thing.
never
You're
thought
just
of that.
trained.
I'm guessing the idea is that you know TikTok or you know whatever so well that you're like, as you're hitting the record button, you're already talking.
That
I
sounds
don't know.
so annoying.
It's very low stakes. Doesn't really matter, but I just find it
Yeah.
interesting.
I think as someone as old as I am, because I mean, I was born in 1990, so I'm in my 30s now. I mean, I remember having to wait for whoever was holding the camcorder to say, okay, go.
How can they have the energy to just go like that from 0 to 100 like that?
But then, like,
Because you're constantly
just
deprived
edit
of
it.
stimulus.
It's like, do people not edit their videos? It's like, I need to be talking right when I start recording because I can't edit. You can just edit out the second pause. Like, I don't.
Do you know, it's funny you mentioned that. When I was growing up, because I mean, I've always been interested in computers my whole life. I ended up getting a computer science degree. And I was always told growing up that like everyone, you know, when you get older, all the kids will know what you know by the time you were in high school. But you know, they'll know it by the time they're 10 years old. They'll know everything you knew by the time you graduated high school about computers. Gen Zers and whatever the newest generation is called, I've heard it's called Generation Alpha. Sure.
No, that's not real.
I think that is what
I
they
don't
call this
believe
None of
newest
it's real.
generation.
None of this
But
is real.
But anyway, they know so little about how
Fair.
computers work and how to like fix them and stuff because they've never had to do it. All the software and stuff has always done it for them.
Yeah, it's like becoming an actual problem where people are getting into the workplace and then they like can't operate or they can't
use Word.
fix.
How
like,
do I
a
restart my computer?
correctly.
How does that work?
It's like very odd. Let alone, you know,
Bro, I
build,
once-
build one.
I once asked, I was troubleshooting some problem, whatever, with this person. And I was asking her, can you please restart the computer to see if it works? It's like, what do I do? And like, oh, fuck it. I was like pointing to the button. It's like, there, I did it. I'm like, no, you didn't. I'm like, can you show me exactly what were you pressing? And she took a picture of this monitor she had. She was turning it off, on and off. I'm like,
That's I refuse to. That's a parody. I refuse to believe that's an
No,
actual human
I'm
being.
not joking. I'm not joking.
Oh, I turned
wish.
my monitor. Yeah, that's just such a like you grow up with my phone's over there somewhere, like with one device and it's a touchscreen, and you don't have any idea, or like a smart TV where it's everything's in the one device, and so you turn off the device, it turns off. Not that there would be an HDMI cable connected to a graphics card in the actual PC that's over there, and you have to.
I like to say that younger
indeed.
people today have what I like to call Todd Howard syndrome. Is that they just randomly assume that all of it just
works. It
just
works.
because it has a button on it and I push it and it just works. How does it work? I'm not going to think about that because fuck me, I don't have to think about that shit.
You say just works, but how the hell does King Crimson work?
It's one of my favorite YouTube videos of all time.
I love that video so much.
It's older than the Part 5 anime too. He was literally talking about the manga when he made that video. It's so funny.
Yeah, because then the anime just kind of like, oh, it fixed it. But yeah,
did it.
Good meme.
I mean, I will say with King Crimson in particular, I think that explaining his stand works better in motion pictures than it does in static pictures.
Crazy how that works, right?
How do you erase
How can you erase time?
How do you erase time?
Where does it go? Where does it go, Jerry? Where does it go?
Stop time.
Jerry.
Oh, I love that memes.
But another like content creation topic that I wanted to touch on too was I believe you guys asked me, like, are there any issues just in AniTube or just general YouTube that I would want to like improve or change? And it's kind of, well, yeah, I mean, that's the big one, right? We talked about that. Better copyright law would be the best thing ever. And, to be able to actually make, because every creator, because of that is, and I'm going on a tangent, but every creator is, everything they release for the most part is, there's like a consolation, or like you're making some sort of like, I can't include this licensed song that I would work really well here because I can't because of copyright. Like I do that all the time. Like I can't include the anime opening or like this soundtrack to the show I'm talking about because I would get in trouble.
I like when content creators do that. They still put the song in there, but it's just them singing the song very badly.
That's a good way to get about it.
It's a shame because like that would enhance the video. Like you're trying to craft this like perfect video with your editing and whatnot. It's like you have the tools to do it, but you just like you can't.
You just have to do it with the tools that you have. But my actual answers to those questions are kind of twofold. It's just there's so much toxicity, which like everyone knows that's the internet. There's so what like specifically about like so I'm gonna talk about anime YouTube first. There is this in it again. Granted, I'm obviously biased because I make anime YouTube videos, but like there's this weird subset, not even subset. There's this weird people on social media where it's just like it's Reddit. I see it on Reddit. I see it on Twitter. It's just like, oh, classic AniTubers. Like, honestly, if we want to talk about why I don't think a lot of the channels are growing, it's because there's a large amount of people that just think it's all garbage.
Yeah.
Like all anime YouTube content is bad. It's all bad. They all have terrible opinions. They're all bad people. I don't want to watch it.
I mean, we kind of like a few years ago, you had like a sort of like you had Digibro, which was sort of like a guy that sort of like voiced that type of opinion on in the community, and I think that's sort of like a group of people that's sort of where they came from to some extent. Like I'm not trying to demonize them or anything, like that's not the point, but it's kind of a voice we had in the community for the longest time. It's like, oh, all AniTube content is shit, which is like that's an opinion you can have,
that
but
big
it's
man Tyrone
really...
meme. Don't you understand that anime belongs in the trash?
Pretty much.
Like I just
but I do share your opinions about that. Yeah.
Like that part specifically is stunting the growth of the community as a whole, where like it's like no, I'm just not going to engage with any creator at all, and I'm going to lump them all in one group. And everything they do is bad. I'm not going to watch it. And then it's like when something actually happens, like someone actually does something bad or has a bad opinion or something, it's always like, oh, YouTubers are at it again. And it's like when this happens with video games, because I'm pretty active like watching video game content. What happens with video games? People just call out the guy.
Yeah,
usually
definitely.
a guy. They call out the creator. about like that's a terrible opinion. Like how do you have that opinion? That I never see like, oh, video game YouTubers are at it again. Even
No,
like
it's it's
influencers.
very, just to interject very quickly. Charlie early made that point about how like he was asking, I think, which fan base is the worst to make like for videos. And he said anime content viewers. He literally said it, and it's
It's
like
so
definitely like
toxic.
yeah,
It's like, and not to say video game stuff isn't toxic because it is. Sports is very toxic and stuff like that. I just feel like other
mm,
communities are so much larger that you can kind of find a niche of enough people that are normal, for lack of a better term,
yeah,
that will like engage with your content to a point like enough people where you can do it full time. A
Normal is
hundred
a very
thousand,
relative term in this
two hundred
community.
thousand. Yeah, right.
You know what? I'll give you something I think it is a big differentiator for like these groups of people. I think more people watch video game content are not terminally online like a lot of people watch mainly anime content online. Is that like,
Yeah,
does that make sense?
yeah.
Or
I
am I
think
really
that's.
far? I
I
don't.
think you're not off base. I do just think because so many more people play video games. Because even then, if you want to talk about, oh, most people just watch shonen, or most people just play FIFA and Call of Duty, like that's
Yeah,
probably like
Which is
half of
true.
the people that play video games, like
that's very
more than
true.
half. But there's still, that 20% of people that want to play indie games is like millions of people, because there's the community is so much larger that even
Yeah,
if 10% of it is people that like I want to hear about this one niche video game that one guy made in his basement, that's 10% of people that play video games. That's 10 million people, however many. Like that's and 10% of that group of people that watch anime and also engage with it online is much smaller. And
Hmm.
that's just sort of the problem. One of the many problems.
When you
right.
have a huge community, like say that's in the tens to hundreds of millions of people strong, if you have 1% of those people that are really toxic people, the the larger amount of people that aren't toxic are always going to drown them out. But if you
That's
have
right.
a community that's, in the couple of 100,000 and you have 1%, it's relatively more people compared to how many that are good.
Like I think the anime community, at least online, is in a very weird spot right now. Because it's not like it was 5-10 years ago, where basically everybody, in terms of like people who make content, everybody knew everybody else. Even
Yeah,
if you didn't know them
very true.
personally, you knew
Who they were.
everyone else, or you knew someone else that knew someone. Like it was like, but it's not so big where you can build these niches and you can build these audiences with enough people to support yourself. It's like in the spot where it's becoming mainstream enough where there's a lot of this toxicity and a lot more people to kind of be very loud about stuff,
Yeah,
but not enough to like support yourself with it. It just becomes very difficult where you feel like you have to capture a good chunk of active online anime fans to become successful right
You want
now.
them to be online, but not terminally online.
Yeah. And that's, and
I think that's a fine line. That is a fine
that is
line. Um, and it's like
because the
I tell people this all the time that I know it's a bad word, especially online, but sometimes you gotta gatekeep, because eventually you're gonna if you never gatekeep, you're gonna let someone in that will destroy your community from the inside with their toxicity.
it's one of those things where I feel like again, I'm talking about anime specifically here. Smaller
yeah,
creators will be upset that the larger creators don't shout them out, or because people don't really do that. Like,
Hmm.
iPatchWolf did that a little bit last year with that video he made where he interviewed some smaller creators.
that's right. Yeah,
But I can't really think of, and he'll do some stuff where he'll shout people out, like in his like things I liked videos.
but so
But
you can't really expect someone to like shout out all the people that deserve being shout out because there's so many of them. It's kind
you
of
can't. That's the one thing. The second thing is I'm gonna have like four things actually. The second thing is it's hard to vet. Like, what if you're like, I want to recommend this channel, and it turns out they're like a horrible person, and like then that looks bad on your brand that you
yep.
recommended people to this channel. So that's another thing. It's hard to vet the kind of person that's making the content.
Hmm.
And then the other parts are like a lot of times, even if people do shout out a channel, people like don't go. Some people will, but a lot of times your audience wants to watch their audience wants to watch their content, not this guy with 5,000 subscribers.
That's why I think collabs are better than just shout outs.
Yeah.
But how can you really collab in something like AniTube? I know Ian
we're doing it right now.
Like,
yeah, it's actually pretty easy. The problem is that people will hit you up in your DMs and be like, "Hey, you want to collab?" And that's
bro, the stories you told me about people
collab?
like sliding to your DMs, being like, "Want to collab?" It's like
it doesn't happen anymore. It was only happening when the Black Clover video was blowing up. That's when I was getting like a bunch of unsolicited DMs from people. But people will roll in and be like, "Hey, you want to collab?" And it's like someone I've never met before, and then they don't have an idea. Like if you come to me with an idea, even if I don't know you, I'll hear it out. I'm like, let's see, maybe this could be a fun thing to do. And some people have done that, which is really nice. But if you just hit someone up like, "Hey, you want to collab?" They're gonna say, unless they know you, like Ty, if I message you like, "Hey, would you want to collab?" We could then talk about what we want to do because we know each other.
Which is kind of how this happened. Like Natai is like, "Hey," Natai came to us on the podcast. He's like, "Hey, I got this friend. He does AniTubing. Maybe we could collab with him." And then we got into like a private group together, and like we
figured out. Yeah,
we each together.
Yeah, we figured it out.
You and Natai and myself, we threw out like 3 or 4 different ideas each, and it's like this is what we eventually like decided on.
Which honestly it helped that I know Ian, so we like it was easy to get this like started. But even if we weren't friends and we didn't know each other, it'd be like, "Hey, like I watch your content. Would you like to come over and talk about it on the podcast?"
What Ian's kind of describing though is like when someone who, let's say, is a really small content creator, maybe they're just starting out and they want to reach out to someone who is bigger, whether it's for a collab or just for some guidance, maybe even just ask for a shout out in a nice way. There is a nice way to ask for a shout out, I think. And then they come to you with no ideas. What they're asking for is a completely one-sided collab. They want you to take control of all of it, and then so they have to do absolutely no work to get all of the clout.
They want free marketing, basically.
Yeah.
And it's just like if you're coming to, not me in general, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, you can't like," but if you're coming to someone with an idea, with that you want to collab, you need an idea. If you don't know the person, because like that's a huge thing. I don't know if it happens as much, but it's usually when I was starting out at like 100 subscribers, like that general range, sub 1,000, is people like, "Oh, let's collab. You want to collab? You want to come collab on something?" Because they've been told that collabing is a good way to grow your channel,
but I don't get why.
But it is with other channels that are your size, which that makes sense. They're a little bit bigger. But it can't, like, if 2 people that have 100 subscribers collab, there's only so much that's going to do for either channel.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it with your friends and having fun, then keep doing it. Totally fine.
Yeah.
But when you're like,
sometimes you can create great content doing that, and maybe something will pop off.
Yeah. But you can't do it as the idea of like, I'm going to just ask everyone to collab because that's how you grow your channel. It's like, no, it's
freaking cloud chasing, man.
Oh man, so I have a fun story about that.
Not
like super directly, but I've had a couple instances where people, and this is the thing that annoys me the most, like the collab things, at least like people's hearts in the right place. They want to make a piece of content. People will DM you and be like, "Hey, I love your content," or maybe they don't do this. "Hey, like I'm just starting out and I have a channel. Would you mind taking a look at it and subscribing if you like it?" Which is fine. That's perfectly fine. If you want to do that, I don't really like DMing people and be like, "Hey, can you subscribe to my channel?" I think it's kind of weird, but if you want to do it, more power to you. But so you do that, and I take it in good faith, and I look at the channel. Maybe they have a couple videos. Oh, it's interesting. Oh, like, oh, you starting out. There's some ideas here, and so you DM back and you go, "Oh, this looks good." Like, and you subscribe, and they follow you on Twitter, and you follow them back, whatever. And then a couple weeks pass, and all of a sudden, they don't follow you on Twitter anymore, and they're not subscribed to your YouTube channel anymore. But you're you still follow them. You're still subscribed to them, and it's just like,
that is so weird.
Like, sub for a sub doesn't work, first off. But if you're gonna do that, like, you can do that to create like creator friends or like people that mutuals in the community. That's totally fine. But you can't do that and then like like be like, oh, I sorry, my timeline's getting kind of messy. You got to clear out my timeline. Like, no,
Just burning bridges. Like what for?
yeah. And then it's. I mean, maybe some people don't notice, and I guess that's fine. But like for me, like the people that have done that to me, like, you know, kind of like don't want to interact with you anymore because like you
it just kind of shows what type of character
to your channel.
Yeah,
and then that's it.
But I think it's definitely worth it, especially if you're a smaller content creator, to definitely reach out to people who may be around your size, maybe a little bit bigger, not like enormous. Like, sure, I could try and get a collab with Charlie. It's not going to work, but I can still try. I can still go to him and
dream
say,
that
hey,
I am the Risu will come on
how
the
many
podcast.
do you think?
How many
people do you think hit him up? How many people you think to ask him? Like at this point, I'm sure they have like a secretary or something, like someone that has to vet emails.
Probably.
Ridiculous.
I'm sure. Well, this fucker down here in its eye. So we've been doing some collabs over the last couple of years, and I think it's worked out really nice. We've gotten some nice people on, and it's been really fun.
Just been really interesting conversations from these collabs. Honestly, really good episodes.
This motherfucker down here literally tried to reach out to a whole live VTuber to ask them on the podcast.
I thought, why not? And you can't DM them, obviously. So like, it was a
trying to reach out to Risu. Risu, if you're out there, come on the podcast. We love you.
Yeah, like I don't want to make it sound like I'm anti-collab or anti-reaching out to people, because I think the best way to grow your channel, other than having people share it, is to just make friends. Genuine friends who can support you, not like I want to be, because this is also a slight problem in YouTube at larger, where some people that are a little more cloud chasey will want to become friends with someone because of their audience,
their status.
Yeah, and like that's so shitty.
That just rubs you the wrong way.
Yeah, and so that's the way I'm always like kind of like closed up whenever anyone reaches out, because I'm kind of like why are they? It's usually fine for me because I have 2,200 subscribers. Like no one's like, oh man, got to get his huge audience base here to grow my channel.
You're way bigger than us.
Yeah,
I can't believe you're using me to grow your.
I know. We're just using you.
So you know what's gonna happen after we.
So you know exactly.
You're gonna unfollow
we're
me
gonna
on
unsubscribe
Twitter.
for your channel. We're not gonna talk to you anymore.
Like I totally think you can DM people and you can say like, hey, I make anime YouTube videos too. Like that's totally fine. You just can't do the other part of it.
And you can't like be oh woe is me when you as a smaller creator aren't proactive about it either. Like the bigger content creators aren't going to just fall into your lap unless you have something that pops off and you get the attention of one of these bigger creators. They're not just going to start DMing you and it's like, hey man, you want to collab? Like no, you got to be a little more proactive about it, and you're going to get rejected. It's just like trying to get a woman. You're going to get rejected a lot.
And you have to
put yourself out there.
You have to have something you can offer. Like it's like any other business to that extent. Like if your channel's smaller, that's fine, because it could be a different audience. It could be different people. But then you have to be able to offer ideas or editing skills or anything really, at that point.
Yeah.
Most of our listens come from Spotify, if I'm not mistaken. Like that's a whole different platform.
And for our podcast, it's been an audio only podcast for a large percentage of its existence. In fact, ever since this year, January 1st was when we first started doing like exclusively camera based content. So yeah, we still have a lot of the people who listen to us listen on Spotify, which is great.
Thank you, by the way.
Thank you. If you are listening on Spotify, thank you. I mean, we do see you there. We can't monetize ourselves there, but we do see you. But if you don't know yet, we are on YouTube. We'd love for you to stop by and actually see our ugly faces.
Gotta get that Joe Rogan money,
I know, right? I forgot where I was going with this.
That transition of from audio only to video was so we can try and grow the channel,
like a different audience.
Yeah. Which is. Looking back on it, we probably shouldn't have started a YouTube channel until we started doing stuff like this. But then also looking back, we should have started doing this a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean
it is.
Everyone can do that. I wish I had started making videos in 2015, and then channel would probably be bigger.
Yeah.
But
hey, I always respect the OGs. The OGs that have been with us since the beginning.
Those that stuck around. I mean, It's crazy some of them are still around.
I will say, going back to what we said about like larger content creators, obviously I don't feel like they're obligated to like prop up smaller content creators in any way, but I do appreciate the ones that go out of their way to draw attention to smaller content creators that are genuinely talented, that maybe for whatever reason, whether they're brand new or they don't upload at a rate that the algorithm on YouTube likes, that they go out like Charlie does this from time to time, where he'll go find smaller content creators and he'll actually watch them on stream and, you know, give
Which
them
is
like
real cool.
advertisement that way. Jacksepticeye is another one who does stuff like that from time to time. And not only will they do that, they'll do like, well, if they're on Twitch, they'll gift like, you know, 200 or 300 subs. Which to a content
really cool.
creator that's struggling to get like 15, 20 people to show up, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are good ways to go about it. Like, I honestly think the shout out is probably still works. It'll still get people there. The point I wanted to make way earlier about my like last point about why sometimes shout outs could be bad is sometimes that creator's audience isn't going to be aligned with like your desired audience.
New people
so like
coming
if you're making like analysis videos and all of a sudden Kigak shouts out your channel and then all his like funny men are descending upon your comment section, it might, you know, or your community, it could throw some things off. So I do think there's to some extent, you know, you want to make sure you don't overwhelm, because that's happened to people before. They're doing good content, they're growing, and then they get shouted out. And not even bad actors, just like suddenly you have thousands of more eyes on you and it gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
And sometimes those eyes aren't going to...
so many comments about Rent a Girlfriend. Why is that happening?
And sometimes those eyes aren't going to have your best interest as a content creator in mind, regardless of how good the content is you're making. Because let's be honest, like we talked about it, terminally online people, there are people in communities all over, not just anime communities, but communities all over. They're just waiting for someone to say the wrong thing or something they don't like. And then they use that as a pretext to comb through all of their hours and hours of content to find the one thing 15 years ago that they said that was even like 5% uncouth. And like, then they just try and cancel them for it.
Bro, can you imagine someone coming through like all our previous episodes, like the shit that we talk about ages ago? Yeah, it is watch time, I guess.
Yeah,
it would have went the channel getting deleted, but yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be careful for that when you do get the so even if you get like a big break, because like what happened with Ian when you had the Black Clover video. I mean, that could have happened to you. You could have had someone come into your community and it's like, yeah, they're all happy-go-lucky, and then the second you say or do something that they don't like, they're just going to use that as a pretext to go find something to cancel you with.
The thing with that though is like when that happened, when that video, like that first Black Clover video blew up, you sort of like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you had a choice of, do I keep making regular videos that I want to make, or do I want to focus and do only Black Clover content?
That actually is,
and get sort of pigeonholed into that.
Yep. Is if I had, because I had some people commenting like you should make manga chapter reviews or whatever, you should make more Black Clover content.
It just become Black Clover channel.
If I had just started making nothing but Black Clover content, my channel would be bigger right now than it is. But I would have been miserable.
And I think you could say the same right now if you started making a lot of Chainsaw Man content.
Well, I am making a Chainsaw Man video.
But I mean, if you started transitioning to like making 4 or 5 videos in a row of nothing but Chainsaw Man content, because that's the big thing to talk about right now.
Well, you know, maybe if that, well, I will say if this next video does do fairly well, I will probably do another one, because I think there's a good middle ground. I think I've had some other friends that also do YouTube more successfully than I do. That there is a middle ground between making what your audience wants and making what you want. Sometimes hopefully it will intersect most of the time.
There's a little bit of intersection there.
But like if you get big, like one of my friends is Replay Value on YouTube, and
I've heard of that channel. I've never actually watched any of their stuff.
He's great. He's really good.
He got sort of big doing analysis, but he had this Hyoka series, and a ton of people all subscribed because they wanted more Hyoka analysis. And so
they were curious.
Yes. And so the way you you do that is you can still make videos that you want to make, but you have to make sure they know, hey, the Hyoka video is coming. Like, this is a different
Yeah.
video this week, but like next week, I'm working on it. Like, the Hyoka video is coming, and so they stick
That's
around.
something to
and
look
then,
forward to.
yeah, and then they'll watch the next one, right? And so you kind of get to do your own thing, but also you still throw them a bone.
Like the main series they stuck
Consistently
around
enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've tried to do that more so after the fact. Like, I think I have 4 Black Clover videos, and they've all done well. But like, if I could go back, I would probably have made the next video about Black Clover in some way or form. And then, then I can do whatever else and then work from there. Just because it's just, even if you have a lot of subscribers who are not interested in your entire package and are more interested in one show, you still have more subscribers. And at some point, I don't know if it's 10K or whatever it would be, you hit a point where like you have enough people around that suddenly YouTube's going to start noticing that and start sending it to new people, because they're like, oh, a good amount of people watching this, so we should send it to some new people. And it's not a foolproof solution. Plenty of channels can get to 50K and then sort of plateau or die out, right? But it's success begets success on this website, and that's sort of how you have to go about it.
And I think that over time, it's certainly evolved away from things like ad revenue and striking it out on your own to where you got to go find subscribers and find people to collab with. And you can't just rely just on yourself and your hard work making it. Which,
it's so,
as much as we like to say our hard work can get us everywhere, sometimes you need a little help.
It's hard on YouTube.
I still believe like that if you make good content, people will find it. The problem is that the bar for that has just gone up over and over and over again. Like,
I would argue it's simultaneously gone up and down, especially with let me hear me out, especially with the introduction of things like TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Because let's be honest, it don't take a whole lot of talent to make a viral YouTube short. It really doesn't. But it does take a lot of talent and research and forethought to make a good 3.5 hour long analysis video about a niche subject.
But like, a channel I really want to shout out that I am a patron of is Lines in Motion on YouTube. They have just about 70K subs, only 20 videos. And it's because all of their videos are mostly about manga, but it depends. But a lot of the manga videos are that, I don't know how to describe it, but it's that like animated manga panel style where it's like, it's moving and it's so visually engaging.
Like a motion comic.
Yes, more or less. I suppose that would be a good way to describe it. And that it's just some of the most incredible, like, just editing work and like video, and obviously the content is really good too. Their analysis is really good. Everything what they're talking about is really good as well. But it's just so incredibly engaging, and it takes forever to do, right? It takes forever to edit it by yourself. That's why maybe a video every couple months. But like, to me, I'm like, that's like some of the best anime content on the platform right now. And it's like 70K is a lot, but like, that's not nearly
it should have more.
Yeah,
they deserve more. Yeah.
And I do wonder how many channels on YouTube are like that, where they're genuinely making good content. They're just not getting seen.
Just not uploading enough for the algorithm to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to keep setting this to people.
Quality content takes time to make. Like they announced earlier this week that we're going to have to wait a while for the second season of Arcane. Good. Take all the time you fucking need. The first season was awesome.
It's the same with like big creators that really enjoy their videos. It's like, oh, like the new video is gonna take a while longer. Sure, there's so much stuff to watch right now.
Well,
I don't mind waiting more.
Internet Historian, he takes months to put out videos, but they're all bangers.
Yeah,
they're all absolute bangers.
Those are
like, that's the point. When you have that many subs, I feel like you can do it.
Yeah, for sure. There is one thing I wanted to definitely talk about, and maybe this can be how we maybe end it. We've talked about things.
It is 4 a.m., Alex.
You don't want a 4-hour podcast.
We're killing the tie.
I'm having a great time. Don't get me wrong, but
he's got to do it again tomorrow.
I'm going to do it again.
Oh, you can do it again, gosh.
But we talked about things like how shitty the copyright system and stuff is on YouTube. And one thing we really haven't talked about is community guidelines and how sometimes they can hamper creators.
Mm.
Especially, I mean, we've kind of talked pretty much as with a focus on YouTube, but I think this kind of goes to just about any platform that we can upload content on. How over the years, community guidelines have become so strict in some ways that it makes you very leery about trying new things, especially on YouTube. It feels like there's so many words you can't or you shouldn't say that it almost feels like you need a dictionary of censorship.
And it's also they did right, because that whole issue a couple of months ago, and they kind of fixed it, and they kind of actually outlined, but even I've had
that was
2
weird.
community guideline issues that I remember off the top of my head, both very minor. One was I did an Odd Taxi video, and I had the picture
I
of
remember
the
that.
revolver from Odd Taxi in the first 10 seconds of a clip of it in the intro to that video, and it got insta flagged because it was like an animated gun. And that was
It's just a 2D gun.
I was very mad, but I just like hit the oh my god, what's the word? Not repeal. The word where I like was like appeal. I appealed it, and it was like instantly taken away. Like I didn't have any problems with it, so I was very lucky. The other 2, because there's actually 3. I remember there was another one with a thumbnail where there was it's from Ida 10. If anybody remembers that show, I don't remember the full name. I don't remember what the full name of that show is.
That's a memory and a half.
But there are some
characters. How
characters.
much you hyped up that OP? It was
That's a
something,
good OP.
man. It's like really good OP.
Yeah, there are some characters that have some plunging cleavage on their character designs, and so I put them on the thumbnail, and the thumbnail got like rejected. It's the only time I've ever had that happen, so I had to change it. But then, basically, to bring it back to what you were talking about, I have a silent voice video that has like 7,500 views now. Was totally fine.
You have one.
Hey, yeah, knock on wood for right now.
Not so silent after all. Am I right?
Yeah,
but
that band hammer wasn't very silent.
I don't swear in that video because I like very purposely don't swear in any of my videos because I don't want to deal with it.
we don't.
Yeah, well, it's a podcast. It's a little more freeform. You're not writing out the words you say before you're saying them. But that video a couple months ago got flagged, and like it's not demonetized, but it's like partially monetized.
So and I'm just like limited state.
Yes, limited ads, and that was like 2.5 years after I uploaded it, and I was just like,
that's weird.
Why? Like they don't give you a reason.
The damage has been done.
Like they don't give you a reason. They're just like, yeah, it's limited ads now. And I'm like,
literally the I don't remember what it was, Alex. You probably remember it better than I do, but there was something about like if you have any mention of something like BL and stuff like that, content, and it gets like was it deleted? Because we had to scrub. We had this affiliate link.
Yeah, so
what was it?
So here YouTube has a policy, and we didn't realize this when we were first starting out, but YouTube has a policy that you're not allowed to include links in like your description or whatever to anything that's considered pornographic.
Right.
So we have an affiliate link with a BL visual novel called Camp Buddy, which we still have it. The only way you can actually access the link now is in our Discord server. But we still have it. But when we realized that, I realized I have to go through like 150 uploads and manually scrub these links.
Oh no!
Just so it won't like get flagged randomly in like 5
every
years
single every video.
Yeah.
But yeah, rough. Fun fact for anyone who wants to start out: if you do get affiliate links for anything that's pornographic, don't put them on YouTube.
There you go.
Yeah, don't do that.
Learn something new.
Or Twitch.
I know you had prospects in this area, Ian, but don't do it.
I was actually planning on it after the recording.
Yeah.
So I won't do it anymore.
What was I going to go with this? Oh, I mean, you can mention that you have them. You just can't put them anywhere.
Don't put any links. Yeah. YouTube is always fun to talk about like that.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up, because it's like there are things that I really want to talk about. It's just I feel like that YouTube is just not a safe place to talk about them, because Who knows if it's gonna get my channel nuked? Not me.
Yep.
It's really tough.
Hell, half the time people at YouTube don't even know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That was the thing when that whole thing was popping off about the swearing stuff, and Charlie talked about this too. It's like he reached out to his partnership rep, and it's like, I don't know, no one told me about this.
And see, like, and Charlie's a guy with a lot of reach and a lot of views, so he can go on Twitter and talk about it, and it will get to YouTube eventually. When it's a small creator suffering from
he's
it,
talked about this.
what
too.
are you supposed to
It's
do?
ridiculous. It's ridiculous that the only way you can reach out to YouTube is on Twitter.
On Twitter, and make noise. You have to make
Yeah.
noise on Twitter, and that's how you get it solved.
You should be able to reach out to YouTube
Ridiculous.
on YouTube.
Through YouTube. It's ridiculous.
It's so dumb.
So there's something else I'd like to see change, specifically in the YouTube sphere, where number one, you shouldn't have to go on another website to get YouTube's attention. Maybe they need a system like with YouTube where you can directly contact support if there is an issue, not via email either, because that's they'll come back with like, well, we have a YouTube support email address. Yeah, they'll get back to you in a week and a half or something.
Can you imagine the YouTube hotline? It'll just never end.
No, it would be awful for those people. I don't want to.
And that's
It'll be
also
awful. Yeah.
that's also
Yeah,
part of the
definitely.
problem, because of how accessible creating content is on these platforms like YouTube and Twitch. It's made it so at a human level you can't really do moderation anymore. Some of it
What was
has
the
to be automated.
statistics? How many videos are published a day? Or
I
even
forget.
an
It's
hour?
like a minute. I'll look it up for you.
It's an
'Cause it's something-
obscenely large,
Yeah, it's crazy.
and the fact that it never gets deleted, at least on YouTube, is just a testament to how much Google is spending on server space.
3.7 million new videos are uploaded to YouTube every day.
Wow.
It's about
And that
One of
number
those
is going
for
to
an
keep
hour
growing.
video that I
1,000 hours of
uploaded.
content.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane.
So
YouTube, yay.
it seems so doom and gloom, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's-
I was gonna say the last thing I kind of wanted to say I would wish would change is more from a creator mindset, and it's hard, right? Is it because it is at the end of the day it is a zero sum game, like it is. There's only so much time people can have to watch content, and that means they're not watching your content if they're watching someone else's content. But I wish people didn't act like that, like creators to each other didn't act like that.
Yeah.
Like I wish it was more like raise people up with you instead of like, you know, I hope that person's video does bad because then it means my video is doing better, right? It's just like the competitive mindset. I wish the competitive mindset was a little more friendly.
It's really
But
harmful on YouTube.
it's tough, and if you're making a living off of it, I can understand the stress and stuff.
To
but
a certain extent, competitiveness can drive innovation, especially in the content that you make. But
Yeah.
you can't let that consume you.
it
you
should be
can't let that
friendly
competition-
competitiveness.
Yeah, it should be friendly competition. And I think there is a way to make that happen. And you can't, like you say, you can't get absorbed by the numbers, and I'll always be of the mindset that someone has to do bad for you to do good.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny when you talk about that competition, because that competitive spirit is almost like sort of everyone's trying to be for themselves, and it doesn't people wouldn't want to help each other out because they're all to themselves, like, oh, I'll try and be better for myself. I'm keeping all my secrets to myself. I don't want to be more inclusive to my fellow content creators, you know.
It's when it happens at a smaller size that it really bothers me. When it's
Yeah.
like people who have under 1,000 subs, like having beef with each other, it's just like
for
you're
no
not
good reason.
you're not helping anyone.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
not helping anyone by doing that.
And you're making
Now-
both yourselves look like assholes.
Now, if
Yeah.
someone actually wronged you, by all means, you know, the
Be
drama
petty.
is fine. But you know,
And
in
sometimes
terms
it's
of, like,
entertaining.
content. Yeah, blow up your channel by starting beef with like other podcasts. You should do that. You can like just start fighting
All right,
other
I'm gonna
podcasts.
go find
on
out
YouTube.
how to get a beef with Joe Rogan started.
Oh,
There
I
you
know,
go.
Alex. Let's invite Keemstar on the podcast. I'm sure he
Oh
watches.
God!
Oh,
Oh my
no.
God!
Ooh boy.
Whoosh.
I'm old enough and have been around long enough to remember how he started.
Oh boy, we're not delving into that rabbit hole, please. I was
Oh,
making a bad
you don't want to
joke.
talk about the Federation of Asshole Gamers?
No, we don't know. This is not a down the rabbit hole video. We're good.
Oh.
I watched it last night.
There's another content creator I absolutely love who only puts out like 2 videos a year.
Because they're so involved. It's like, that's the theme. That's the theme we've hit. Is everyone who does that uploading schedule is you're gonna get a 3-hour video and it's gonna be the most researched, detailed thing you've ever seen.
And
you're
usually
done.
well edited.
You don't
as
get
well.
to complain for like an entire year.
Yep.
Oh wait, I can say this here because there's no bots. I wish I had an editor. I really wish I had like an editor.
We have John. John does a really good job. We love him. He made a
just,
brand
like,
new
pimping out
animated
John
intro for
like,
us.
are we pimping out John as like our editor?
I'm just saying, if John wants to make some extra money,
that's the bigger problem for me. Is like I can't justify paying an editor, and I'd want to pay them
Yeah.
fairly, right? I'm not going to hire someone for $5. I would want to pay someone that I know is going to is good, and I can pay them fairly. But I just don't make enough money off of the channel to reinvest that into, and then I'd be paying my own money, and at that point, then things just get a little more like, oh, well, I paid $85 or $100 for this video, and it didn't do well. Like,
Was it worth the investment?
why am I doing that? Like, it just adds more stress. It just adds, for me, it would add unnecessary stress. That's why I don't do it.
Yeah.
which
Love
for
it.
like the most of the assets that you see, well, especially recently, that we have for this podcast, whether it's the art or like the transitions that we use on Twitch or whatever, it's all stuff that we've paid for out of pocket through the artists that we commission to do it. John recently, like I said, John recently made an animated intro for us. He using Blender for the very first time.
Nice.
Thank you,
He
John.
did a great job. I hope you all out there like it, because John spent a good deal of time on it, and who knows, it'll probably only get better as time goes on. And then I pay Ida burgers to make. I pay for our thumbnails with burgers.
He makes good stuff.
Ida loves hamburgers, so I just give him money for hamburgers.
There you go.
To circle back to what you said, Ian, about having an editor. So, like, would you say that's the most tedious part of the job for you? Like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a
the editing
writer,
aspects
right?
Of the video. Yeah,
it's always you can always tell based on how people make their content whether they're a writer or I feel like it's writer, or you can be an entertainer if you're doing like off the cuff stuff, or an editor. But for like what I'm thinking about, like analytical content, writer or editor. And usually the people that are writers have very, very basic, like I can edit, but it's very basic. I do clip selection and it's cut when I need to cut it, and it matches up with what I'm saying, but that's it. That's all I do. Versus people that have transitions and stuff moving and like big, basically After Effects stuff. Like I don't use After Effects when I edit usually. And so like that's kind of how you can tell.
We use Sony Vegas. It's not even Sony Vegas anymore. It's just Vegas.
Alex is a big proponent of Sony Vegas.
I am a big proponent of it because you can actually fucking buy it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You can just one price and then you have it.
You can just buy it. What a fucking concept! Buying something and having it.
Fucking Adobe having a chokehold over editors all around the world.
Yeah, I'm in their workflow. It's too late for me. Save yourselves.
I recently, like, completely by accident found out how to do something in Vegas, and I'm like, oh,
that revelation for you was like, oh, it's like when man first discovered fire. That was like
I recently found out completely by accident how to do like those comedic zoom in effects when someone is like making a point. I recently just completely by accident figured out how to do that. It's like, oh, I can do that.
I can create.
Yeah, for me,
I am an editing god.
Natai, a lot of it is just like editing is my least favorite part, and so what happens? Like, I'll probably by the time this is out, I'll probably have released. I have a video on the new Demon Slayer season, kind of about how that movie release they did and how weird that was.
Demon Slayer's release schedule in general has just been weird across the board.
But like that video was written 2.5 weeks ago, was recorded 2 weeks ago. And I like did the audio editing because I actually like audio editing. It's like pretty easy. And then it's been like a week and a half and I just haven't finished it. It just sits there. I just don't really enjoy it. And so like that would be the reason I would want to get an editor, because then I would actually release videos more consistently, like significantly more consistently.
But the question to that is, I remember watching, it was YMS when he was making that Lion King video. He talked about how he finds like the good bits of the video in the edit. So like, do you have those do you encounter that every now and then where you're like, oh, make a bit out of this? Like, remember that one video you did where like you cut to like there are multiple Ians in the room for like whatever reason.
So the thing with most of my bits is I have them in my mind before I start editing. I'm sure there are. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but they're usually the jokes that I do are like were written, even if they're visual jokes. Like I know I'm going
beforehand.
I know I'm going to do them before I start editing. But I get that, like particularly if you have a much longer video or it's a little more freeform, you can find, you can have it come together while you're editing. To me, it usually comes together when I'm writing it. And then it's the editing is just like to make it into a video that is going to be on YouTube instead of it just being a piece of written content.
Nice.
I see. Cool.
One last point I want to make, and we were talking about this before we started, for anyone out there who is an aspiring content creator, and this goes for whatever you're going to do, whether it's AniTubing, games, just general content creation, fix this before this.
Yeah,
we were talking about that.
Audio is king. Like, fix your audio quality before your video quality, because I guarantee you that will get you more views and clicks. Good audio will get you more clicks than good video. Ideally, both is good, but
I've had so many people, not anymore because the channel's bigger, so people just assume it is fine. But like when I had like 100 subs, people I would constantly every video be like, "Oh, your mic quality is so good. Like, how do you do that?" And that was when I was recording on a blue snowball with a blanket over my head.
Yeah,
that's how I would record voiceovers. I would use that microphone and put a blanket over my head and read off my laptop.
Blankets will take you far.
The Ty, you remember when you used to have to record holding a blanket the entire time?
For an hour and a half, I'll be in this position like this with a blanket over my head. For an hour and
a half, 2 hours, his muscles would fucking lock up.
Oh, good times, man. Good times.
Yeah, fix your audio and get that squared away before you even worry about video.
It's the easiest way you can differentiate yourself from the average channel, really. And at this point, so many people, it makes it cheaper. A lot of people have good audio, but if someone clicks on your video and it's a laptop mic from 2015 and it's like, it sounds like this while you're talking, like they're gonna stop watching.
Yeah,
because no matter how good your writing is or how matter good your editing is, if it doesn't sound good, people aren't going to want to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
That's probably the best advice I can give for anyone starting out with content creation, particularly on YouTube, is always get your audio squared away before your video.
It's that, and also do what you like. Yeah, if you have an idea, you have an opinion you feel like you want to voice and no one's voicing, do it. Make a video. What could possibly go wrong?
That's how. When is that Dr. Stone video coming out?
Never. I'm scraping it in favor of a ranking of every OP of Black Clover ever.
I have that half written.
We're about to do a spoiler cast for Zoku Aware, where we're gonna finish off the Monogatari series, and then after that, we're gonna just finish off with doing rankings of things like the OPs, the story arcs, and probably the characters as well.
Yeah,
I know very little about that entire series, but
you should watch it and then watch our spoiler cast and tell us how wrong we are.
In what order should I watch it? That's like the third time I've made that joke.
The broadcast.
I think I sent you that fucking image of the watch order so many times that you know.
Can I skip parts?
No.
The only part you can even there is a set of episodes you can definitely skip. The first 10 episodes of Koyomi Monogatari, you can skip all of those.
That's all the way, indeed.
That just makes me want to watch it more.
That's
how my brain works. If you tell me you're like, you shouldn't watch this, I'm like, why? Interesting.
That's like being told not to do something. Of course, you're going to want to do it when you get told not to do. Don't push this button.
All right,
I'm going to push it.
I watched every episode of X-Arm. So, and
You
both
are a
seasons
brave
of
I mean,
man
Handshake.
who am I to
die.
talk? I'm watching Rent a Girlfriend, and I've been not a great time. So who
I
am I to
watched both
judge?
seasons of Handshakers. Well, technically Handshakers and Wise. I also watched Rewrite, which is one of the funniest
Rewrite.
bad anime
Oh
I've
my
ever seen.
God. I can't believe
Anyway,
I watched Rewrite because of you.
well, because I
What a
made all of
garbage.
my friends watch the last episode of the first season because it is actually one of the funniest episodes of
So-
anything I've ever
so-
watched.
Most of that series is like slice of life bullshit. Then get to the final episode, it's like end of Evangelion.
It's the
It's like-
bad ending of the visual novel. I don't know why they
Yeah.
decided to do the bad ending of the visual
Well,
novel as
they
the
did the
ending
exact
of the
same thing
first
with School
season.
Days.
True.
It's
They
just
did the
like-
exact same thing with School Days. They adapted the bad ending.
But you didn't get jazz in School Days. In Rewrite, you get Evangelion jazz. It's fantastic.
And then you also get him turning into a tree. In
We
like
need to
limited
rewatch that,
animation.
dude.
Turned
it's been
himself
so
into
long.
a tree. Funniest
It's-
shit I've ever seen.
It's so funny. I can't even
We need to
describe.
rewatch it. Wow, you can't describe it with words. You need to see it for
You know,
yourself.
As bad as School Days is, it's actually only the second lowest rated thing on my MAL.
Do you have any
What's the
ones?
Oh no,
I do.
I don't want to hear.
I have one. Well, actually, technically, I have two ones. One of them is Skelter Heaven, which is notorious for being the lowest rated thing on MAL. And that's also
Babe, I
like
know
a
what's the other
7,
one.
like a 12-minute OVA. The other one is Bunny Girl Senpai.
There we go. Oh my god. I'll
Listen,
be the
have you
middle
watched
ground
it?
here.
Ian,
I-
Ian, have you watched it?
Ian loves it.
I wish I could do like my webcam isn't. Let's see. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna see if you can see right there. That is a framed photo of framed drawing of that is the My Nendroid. That is every currently released English light novel from the series right there in its
Oh, I
own
fucking
part of
knew
my
it.
bookshelf. There is also a framed drawing of above my desk as well.
It
let me
seems
tell you
Ian does
something.
dream of Bunny Girl Senpai.
Let me tell you something. As much as you might like that, when you watch the Monogatari series, you'll understand what people say when they say it's plagiarized.
Okay.
No, don't.
That's why you
that's
don't
not how
like
you
it.
get them to watch it, though, Alex. No.
Yeah,
It's literally just a plagiarized version of Monogatari that's just done.
No, that's
way
not how you
worse.
get them to watch Monogatari. I've seen this
Natai
fucking
and I-
discourse for so many
Natai
years
and
by
I
now.
have a running joke where I call Monogatari a Bunny Senpai ripoff, and he gets upset,
Ugh.
and then we just do that over and over again, and I find it very funny.
When do we do it? It's been like how many years we've been doing this?
It
fucking
came out in
dumb
20
discussion?
17?
18 or 19, I can't remember.
Might have been like fall 18.
God,
winter
please don't.
19.
It's been 5 years since 2018.
Yes.
Before COVID.
That's
before
how
the
old
dark
math
times.
I can't
But now,
believe we're
doesn't
I mean, 10 years because
we're
2
two
years
and a
were
half
during
hours
Corona.
in. We're wrapping up, and you dropped that bomb on me at the end.
Listen,
of
You
the
know,
have-
and you know what's
I have hot takes. Like I got them for you, man.
that's the problem. I knew that was coming. I'm like, I was like, please don't talk about Bunny Girl Senpai.
Like,
Please don't.
Thanks
talk
for
about
coming
it.
on
Please
the
don't talk about
podcast.
it."
I hate one of your favorite series of all time. Anyway,
Listen. I'm not saying it's inherently bad. I am saying that once you watch the Monogatari
No, I
series,
get-
it
I
is
get
bad
it.
in comparison.
I hadn't even thought about that. Since you like Monogatari so much, that would be an issue. When you, I just was like, he said what? What's this other one? Like what?
It's like, what Bunny Girl Senpai? I still
Look,
haven't watched the movie.
School Days is one of my my 2-2s that I have on Mal.
2-2s.
My 2-2s. I have 2 anime that I've rated a 2 out of 10.
You know
I've
what's
watched a lot
funny? I
of
just
bad stuff.
realized something funny.
Hmm.
I bet if we go back to the beginning of this episode, Ian's window, you could see the sun from
Oh,
Ian's
yeah,
window.
no.
Oh yeah, it was
As
bright
the
as
episode
fuck.
progresses,
It
you
was
can see it
It's
go
daytime.
just
down.
gotten darker and darker.
And now it
just
is
like
nighttime.
just like his
For me, it's been
disgust
night
for
all
me,
along, buddy.
It's
Yeah.
gotten bigger and bigger.
Clearly, it was indicative of what was coming at the end of
I
the
It
know.
must be the
podcast,
work
yeah.
of an enemy stand, right?
Yes, the sun stand, isn't that? That's the
That
Is
is
that
the
just on
stand
the
in
sun?
part 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sun is literally a stand.
Oh my god. Quick, as many JoJo references near the end of the recording, right?
Oh,
That's
well,
how it
oh,
works.
Natalia's seen an unsucked cock. We must do a JoJo's reference.
Just to finish that
Good
conversation, my ones are X-Arm and Tsukihime, because I'm a type moon.
Tsukihime.
I'm a type moon. I don't know what the word loser. So I was like, oh, I gotta watch
Enjoyer.
the anime, and there's a reason why it's like the Avatar movie, and people say it's just what anime? What do you mean? It's not good.
Trying to think, are there any other like?
I think I only
super
gave a
out-
2. I don't have 1s yet. I only have 2s so far. I think one is for Magical Warfare, which John made me watch, and the other is for Rent a Girlfriend, I think. And that's
John,
it.
let's be clear. John didn't make you watch that. You chose to watch it because it was on John's list.
It was the challenge was to pick the lowest rated show on someone's list.
What was
That
it?
was the challenge.
I cannot remember. We did a thing for the podcast for like a Christmas special, Secret Santa, where we each got someone else on the podcast and we had to watch one of.
It's
their
like we
lowest
used to
rated
do,
anime.
Ian, with our group, if you remember.
And I can't remember who was it. Was it Show that ended up getting me? I think
so. Which
I can't
which
remember what he
anime did you pick?
watched.
I
I
don't
can't remember
remember.
what he watched.
I don't know. It's been so long ago. We should go back and check it out.
I don't think I have any other things like in my that are like 5 or below 5 on my list that are going to be huge shockers to anybody. Like I got Ori Emo is down there at a 4, but I think that's well deserved.
Oh God.
I don't own any Orimo light novels. You're okay.
No. Well, okay.
What about figures though?
I guess
No.
for a lot of people that would just roll their eyes, both Attack on Titan seasons 1 and 2 are 4 and 2.
Oh, those are
respectively.
just your bad opinions.
Yeah.
At least
Hey,
the Bunny
there
Senpai
is
one had a
one season-
reason.
There is one season of Attack on Titan I have rated a 5.
Oh, great.
We
And
should
it was
That's his
actually the
normalize.
favorite season.
It was the first half of season 3, which I legitimately thought was good.
It is. We should normalize a 5
So the-
being like actually like good.
Average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's actually 5 out of 10, and because 7 out
People
of 10 feels
forget.
like it's the
People forget there's like a whole other half of the scaling, the rating system, right? 1 through 5. People like it's a 6. Oh, it's the worst thing ever. Fuck.
I gave One Punch Man the first season a 5 out of 10, which shocks a lot of people.
I could see that. I gave it like a 7 or maybe an 8, but I'm also weird where like repetitive jokes start graining on me.
Once you
some
get
point.
past the
Oh,
third
yeah.
time, the joke ain't funny no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like we
I
should
guess
do
we're
another
comparing now-
podcast some other time, yeah, where we go through everyone's.
Let's do
Mal.
that.
We
I
did
mean,
we
we-
did that on the podcast where we actually roasted our followers' mail list, and that was fun.
That's a good idea.
So let's roast each other's mail for the next episode, maybe.
You know what? I am a-okay with that. We can have guests on for that too. I'm a-okay.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, guys. You know what?
We were talking about.
We could do that for
Hmm.
our 200th episode.
No, you know what we're doing for the 200th episode. You remember what we talked about?
Getting very drunk.
I mean, that's obvious, you know. It is what
Have
it
you
is.
considered doing a hot take rating episode where either
We're-
your audience sends in hot takes and you have to see the quality of them, or the hosts make hot
Ooh.
That
takes?
sounds like
basically
something we could do
the-
for a WTF.
But
So basically
nobody
the Anthony
knows.
Fantano thing.
Nobody knows whose hot take it is. Obviously, you will know some of them. Like if somebody is like, "Yeah, Attack on Titan is a 4 out of 10 series," I think. we
Oh,
would
I
know
wonder who
whose
thought
hot
that.
take that is. But that could be a fun idea.
I mean, we
go ahead, Natai.
we were talking about doing another. How many months ago we did an episode about like our favorite hype moments from anime. We wanted to do another.
that
one.
was,
I
like,
know
back
I
in
wanted to
October of
invite you
last
to
year.
that, Ian, because I thought that you'll like be perfect for that as well.
I do watch
Honestly,
a lot
yeah,
of shonen.
we talked about back when we did the first part of that we have enough stuff just left over where we could do a part 2, and we really should.
Because those were a lot of fun. Just like
They
talking
were.
about cool things we like.
Yeah. We should really stop because we've
Yeah,
been
so
going
do
for
you-
2.5
I was gonna
hours.
say, do you want to wrap? Let's wrap up now.
Yeah, we should really wrap this up.
Like
Yeah.
I really enjoy myself, but it is 10 minutes before 5 a.m. So
All right. Well, on that note, Ian, before we go, is there anything? I know you've talked about your YouTube channel and stuff already. This is your
Plug away.
chance. Like, what do you want to plug that's coming up that you got working on? Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me basically at Be More Brass on any relevant social media platform. There's a TikTok that I don't use too much. Twitter, I'm on my Twitter a lot. So if you like Twitter, you just follow me on Twitter at Be More Brass, and then the
You are
YouTube channel.
terminally online too.
The YouTube channel is the main one. There is a Twitch channel as well, but the YouTube channel would be the main direction I would point anyone towards if you want to hear my very good opinions that are always correct on all anime.
And if you see the thing right under his name, that's where you can.
There it is. It's been up for 2.5
There it
hours.
is.
If you're
It's
watching
been
the
up there
video
for
version
almost
of
2.5
this, so
hours.
you've had enough time.
Listeners be like, what?
But I have that Demon Slayer video I mentioned, and the next one after that will most likely be a longer Chainsaw Man analysis that I'm really excited about. It's like one of my favorite things I've ever written, so I'm hoping that comes out really well. After that, I don't know. I have some other stuff planned with a lot of like half-written scripts. So again, I was talking to Natai about a Black Clover opening video, by like rating all the openings. But that's more so because I know my subscriber base would be interested in that, if nothing else.
All right. Well, it's been great having you on.
If I may, if anyone's going over to your channel, I would highly recommend to check both the Naruto OP video that you did, because I think that's what I really like about your videos is that unlike a lot of people in the AniTube community, you very much like to go and research about the actual band and the music that goes behind the OPs. I think that's like a very unique approach.
I need to make another one of those.
Yeah, those like very well researched, really good videos. And I don't even watch Naruto, but I really liked it.
Yeah, I'm really happy with both of the Naruto videos.
Yeah, and I would also direct to your Arcane videos, which I thought were like really spot on, like discussions and analysis about them, like just really solid.
But the second Arcane video about Silco, I'm also very proud of.
Fantastic. Really solid video. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
So I would like direct people to both of these videos for reference.
Antagonist ever.
Oh my god. Not wrong. Where's the lie?
Dude, if an antagonist can literally get me to agree with them, they're fucking well written.
He has a point.
Arcane season 2.
Hey, before I do the outro here, Ian, do you want us to simultaneously put on our loser hats?
Oh, I was just gonna go. My last plug was gonna be like Go O's. That was my last plug. Was gonna be, hey, I love we love the DMV, don't we?
we
Go
love
Mets.
Walgreens.
Go Mets, right? Am I doing it right, Dad?
Hey, yeah, 3 different baseball. This isn't even. I just got this when I went to DC because I wanted.
We were gonna buy Natai like a Mets hat, and it wound up being like $50 or something. So he was like, "I don't need it that much."
This is from when the All-Star game was in DC.
Fancy.
All 3 of us like baseball.
When
baseball podcast win.
I mean, it's not even a lie. The two of you got me to interested in baseball. Fucking surprisingly enough.
It's the best sport ever invented.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Keijo is a better sport, let's be honest.
And on that
also, I do want to point out, I don't know how it's going to be by the time this episode comes out, but on the day we're recording this, my Tampa Bay Rays have won 13 straight games to start the season. They have tied an MLB record. I am so happy. If they win tomorrow against the Blue Jays, they will have the record themselves, and they will be watching that game for sure.
Well, for your sake, I hope they're like 28-0 by the time this comes out. I guess it's like they'd probably 23-0.
The MLB record for consecutive wins is 26, and that was set back in 1916 by the New York Giants.
For my sake, I hope they're 13-13.
That would certainly help the Orioles a lot.
It would be great for me.
All right, we gotta go. We've been on this for far too long. Thank you, Ian, for stopping by. It's been absolutely a pleasure. We'd like to have you back on if you can ever get back on with us. I know.
Yeah, clearly I'm so busy.
Yeah, for Natai, I know this is hell for him being on at this time of night, but thank you, Natai, also for braving it.
Do it for the content, all right?
Yeah, and you get to do it all again tomorrow night with me.
And if you go to any of my YouTube videos, you'll probably find Natai in the comments.
Oh, probably.
If you want to tell him he has bad opinions.
Or good ones. What I'm here for.
Or good ones.
Yes, I have sometimes. More often than not, maybe.
Anyway, thank you all there for dropping in to watch us. Check the description below where you can find links to Anime Club After Dark on Twitch, on social media, and on Discord. Check out our merch store as well. Any purchases you make there do really, really help us out. We didn't even talk about merch stores when it comes to online content creation. Those actually really help too, I think, with revenue streams. But with that, I
love CS Lotto.
Yeah. And with that, I have been your host, Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, guys.
Good night. Good morning. God. Leave her alone. Oh,
Wow.
you've disgusted me.
Is that?
There she
my.
is.
There you go. There you go. Natai, where's your penis?
It's not here. It's getting
Your
its
penis
stitches
is-
ready. My buddies bought me a penis plushie, and it's always here, but it got ripped between the,
It's Natai. I've told you
Don't think
over and
about it.
over again. You can.
I
only
wasn't doing
drip it
anything.
so many times.
I promise.